There's a lot going in that one, you know.
Yeah.
Key players, and I think makes complete sense. I think the mid matchup will have so much impact on the jungle matchup. Grizzly needs to survive, and as a result, he needs Zeka to be in good form. I think Zeka has looked fantastic on his picks. Whether they'll target those picks, target the champion pool, is the question, because Chovy, you know, we've definitely had a couple of games where maybe Chovy hasn't had the most impact, but generally speaking, he's been super active, pairing up with Peanut, and just been taking names.
Yeah, it's been pretty deadly on that side. We saw a big difference in the champion pool was that Chovy has played 9 games of Annie, whereas Zeka's only played 6 and has a much worse, I mean, he's at 50-50 for Annie as Zeka, but Chovy with 8-1. Gen.G doing a lot of winning and definitely prioritizing that pick a lot more compared to his opposition.
I think earlier in the split was when we saw a lot of the Annie, and I think Life Esports looked better when they started to bring out the Yone and lean him on that and play to his strengths. I think what would work for Gen.G here is to trim it down, target some of those picks that he's really excelled on, and then force him back onto things, you know, like maybe like the Ahri, the Annie, that are sort of more traditional mid laners. And I think Chovy would have the edge in that situation.
Yeah, it definitely could be a look, as we do have, I hope Grizzly's all right. He's got the bandaged up hand once again, just trying to keep everything intact, I suppose. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, because after yesterday, I'm not really sure what to expect, right? I think everybody feels kind of thrown into this chaos after T1 did take the victory in 5 games against KT. A lot of people are saying, well, Gen.G maybe a bit more consistent. You know, I don't really think Life Esports is going to be able to topple them this time around. They're not quite the team. They don't have that momentum with, you know, Faker coming back in the lineup on the side of T1. But I also wouldn't underestimate this team.
Yeah, I think people kind of thought that T1 like this big wildcard, dark horse, we don't know what to expect, and KT being KT, the more excited you are about them, the more likely to flounder. I think people expect it to be more straightforward despite that, but again, you never really know with these things. Expectation is definitely Gen.G should have the edge, but I think the first game will really be telling to see what sort of form they're in. And even if...
It's like game 1 yesterday, right?
Yeah. But even then, like, even though KT won that game 1, I think T1 showed they could contest in top and in bot lane. And I think that's the thing. Life Esports don't need to win game 1, they just need to show that they can contest. Gen.G will not be the main takeaway. Open up with the rel bans. I feel like there's been so many broken things to get a hand on in terms of bans that a lot are going to be left open. We'll see if they start putting prioritization for Gen.G towards Zeka's champion pool. Maybe the Yone could be targeted, but they're starting off with that Renekton. Kai'Sa still available and open.
So Kingen is 13-0 on Renekton. His next most played is Jax at 5 games, 1-4.
So pretty good.
Bit of a Renekton one trick.
Definitely a comfort for him, and makes a lot of sense that they banned it away. See what Gen.G go for with their 3rd ban in this situation. Going to target the LeBlanc. Still seeing a lot of bans towards it, even though it did feel like it kind of fell off towards the end of the season. And Life Esports, will they ban the Kai'Sa in this situation? Will Gen.G first pick it in return? Sejuani still open and available. Obviously, Life Esports might give up the Kai'Sa if they want to go like Sejuani Jax to give some strength to King, and could also go Sejuani, Jax, and Yone, but they actually banned the Jax themselves.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough.
So Kingan's 13-0 on Renekton. Doran is 12-0 on Jax. So it's like, well, if you're going to hit our top laner, we're also going to hit your top laner.
Yeah, it's valid. Maybe they were worried about a Sejuani first pick and the pairing up with that. We're going to see a Maokai come out from Gen.G, so Jace is the expectation. We've seen Jace Maokai super often so far. And I think Life Esports should expect that to a degree. They could just go the Sejuani in response, but with the Jax and the Renekton gone, it's a little bit lower prio. But given that Zeka likes to bring out the Yone, you could go maybe like Sejuani Kai'Sa here, and then on 3 you could potentially lean into the Yone or something like that. We'll see what they opt to go for in this situation. They do block with the Kai'Sa, which I think is the right call. And we'll see if they opt to go for a jungler, and it is going to be that Sejuani Kai'Sa. So options here. They go mid or potentially top on that 3, but obviously not both. And Gen.G are going to go Aatrox and then probably Jace here, I would think. I'm actually going for the Azir instead, so still obviously a great pick for Chovy, but it means you're instantly going to get responded to with the Yone. Obviously, a great pick into the Azir.
All right.
Kind of expected
Durant
that
takes
pairing
Aatrox.
with the Sejuani and the Yone.
It'll be ban, Renekton ban.
Like,
Jax is also out.
This
is a strong
This is
Aatrox
what
pick.
he's going to play like 100% of the time. He has Sejuani, he's up against Azir. Like, what else is he going to play?
If you were surprised by this,
somehow
then
Xayah also
you
doesn't
didn't
get
do your prep. So I
squeezed.
think Genji
Maokai
certainly
price high.
expected that to happen. Huge win rate on the pick, but obviously that's because Zeka's just been doing so well on it. And now Genji starting to target the top laners in this situation. Life Esports looking towards the bot lane. Xayah gone and the Zeri gone. A massive pick for Pays when he's been able to get his hands on it.
Yeah.
And the Nautilus ban actually coming out, so not wanting to deal with the Kai'Sa Nautilus. Obviously, Life Esports do have that 5 pick, so expect to put support there, especially with the Nautilus ban. So a top laner for King in this situation, they could just go for the Xante is an option. Toying with the idea of an Ornn obviously would give them a super strong front line and a solid engage option.
Yeah, it's got a decent lane into Aatrox. It doesn't really shut him down
for
in
engagement.
A way. So Aatrox kind of does get this lane where he
was on the first time play any Walter game. You got any advice on class and builds?
Such a huge front line with Ornn Sejuani. You've got decent scaling within it. I think it's a good pick. It's obviously a good one for King as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I do kind of wonder what Genji are going to go for their bot lane.
I think usually it's like,
there is so much
I think it's very rare where the main stat of your class is bad to max.
Is great. Very good at
that's always good as a baseline.
Knocking away threats to provide space, but the AD carry is going to be, I'd say, the trickier one because trying to find an option that's going to survive in this situation.
I play
dive when Xayah is banned. A lot of the mobile picks
plenty of
taking off the cards is going to be tricky. We've seen
so I have wisdom on my druid. Then I have dexterity.
Sivir, has started making
I have very low charisma, but it's fine.
A lot of value here. Although still quite short range and can get jumped on.
Thoughts on draft?
Yeah, it doesn't really I'm
concerned about the Ornn.
Featherstorm or obviously Kai'Sa.
Concerned about the Ornn.
Left open through all of this, so Life says, I guess I'll just take that. And really just adds in another layer to their insane engage.
I feel like blue side is a very easy front-to-back composition to play.
Rakan's a great pick nowadays. I think they kind of killed it with this draft.
Yeah, and I think it's very clear that.
I think the big question is how Yone transitions into mid-game and
but not in terms of what the comp wants. It's very clear that Life Esports are all
into mid-game.
Like
if Yone Sejuani manages to build an advantage, I think that's huge. Otherwise, I feel like blue.
Aggressive teamfight comps like this, whereas on the other side, Genji is a much more defensive composition.
I think blue is the easier draft to play. And I think Genji love easy.
Sit back and be safe.
And Aatrox.
Who honestly, if you're diving into Aatrox, so much value on the.
I think also Karim, like, I don't think you're gonna necessarily spoil yourself if you're gonna Google like builds of classes you're interested in.
And how they want to play out team fights. A big factor though is going to be how that laning phase goes. And I will say, I feel like overall...
The other way is you just choose what is recommended, and then further down the line you can always respec.
The Sivir as well, able to shove in waves after a point, so might be a bit of weather in the storm at first for the side of Hanwha.
I don't think Yone is super good into Aatrox.
Oh my, that is sick.
That is a crazy picture, bro.
Must be Grizzly. I don't know who else it could be.
That did look like a very Grizzly bear, I will say that.
Yeah. Well, this is a very interesting way to kick off the first game. It does feel like with all the target bans, both teams got a bunch of tools that they would really love. Chovy back on the Azir.
What's up, Nate? Spending money for 7 TV.
And let's see how it is going to go here. As I'm very
any stacks well LCK, I'm gonna start it slow.
In his back pocket.
Let's start it slow.
We're just about ready to go. Let's hop into the rift for game number 1 of this best of 5.
Every time when I start my LCK streams, bro, I've been awake for 15 minutes. So I take it easy in the beginning. A review of tonight's game is set tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow will be the review. Do you think LCK has a little pool of champions? How so?
I feel like a lot of times you see these drafts or like, this draft is better or, this team got what they want and the other team didn't. I feel like this is an example where both teams probably came out of this really happy and with exactly what they wanted in this situation. And it's really going to come down to execution.
My pleasure, Karim.
How they leverage that. I think a big thing for Life Esports is obviously the expectation is Ornn is going to have he's going to be fine, but not going to be super aggressive in the top lane matchup. I think the main thing is his mid jungle.
Is that better?
Despite the fact that obviously Azir has a lot of pressure in the 1v1.
What is your garlic, homies?
2v2, you can really find an edge, and if Peanut ends up getting caught into a fight, the easily stacking passive from the Sejuani could be devastating. So I think trying to challenge there is important, and already Honor Life Esports get a ward down for some information on where Peanut is starting off.
Yeah, great information over there. There was a ward put on the Raptors by Gen G over on the side of Helma Life, but Grizzly not exactly showing there just yet. They did ping it, so probably somebody got seen there, and depending on the timing, could have a sense that Grizzly is going to start up on the top side. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. As Chovy's Yone has been insane over the 2 times we've seen it so far. I'm really surprised that they don't give him this champ more often, but obviously in this draft, wasn't really the angle. The Yone Maokai, not exactly the duo you're looking for.
Good morning, Carol.
Obviously made a lot more sense for Zeka, but you can see Chovy very comfortable on his Azir as well, 6-0 so far.
I believe DRX is in the regional qualifier.
In a lot of the recent games, really able to make early ganks happen, and into a composition like this where you have 2 super mobile picks with the Yone and the Kai'Sa, having that front and click CC so valuable. We do see Viper not going cleanse this game.
I could be crazy.
And being honest, there isn't a ton of cleanse value, but it's often some teams just take it as a default into Maokai, because it's very hard not to at some point get flash rooted. So you definitely keep an eye on that. It does mean if Peanut ends up moving towards the bot lane, there is
Those on Grizzly, what an upgrade. What a damn upgrade.
Yeah.
Clid.
Really point, we'll have to wait and see. Pays himself, even with the spell shield, does have cleanse, and there's a lot more cleansable stuff on the opposite side, obviously. So
you know, always horrible to be caught in like a scandal like that, but the timing for him to be caught in a scandal like that,
and yeah, I mean, once you get to level 3, level 4, you start on
he couldn't have found a lower point in his like
I think
individual level of play.
Chovy has the big advantage on the Azir, but there, if you manage to find the tornado with your Unbound Soul, it's devastating. And then
Till they are on the scandal, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Because obviously Yone can find the Azir, but we often see what happens is an overstep from the Yone into a...
This is not fucking Keemstar drama alert. We say scandal and we move on. And let's get right into the news.
Not only stealing away these Raptors, but tracking where Peanut's going to be, and Grizzly should just be able to smite this.
As far as I'm aware, Grizzly is a rookie.
Little ones, but Zeka's still in the area.
Yeah. They have priority in bot, which is another reason why they, you know, bot lane's not just going to
Sejuani showed up with Maokai respawn because of the...
You know, with Azir busy,
Raptor start.
He just has to run away from Grizzly, so Grizzly gonna push him.
Interesting. Sejuani did red golems into invade Raptor. Good timing, interesting timing. I'm gonna note this timing. Because this is a cool timing. They have full wards on both sides too. Look at that square of wards. I like that.
So the timing was great when they had that prio, and now we can get a reset from Grizzly, and Zeka can just let the wave push into him if he needs. Looks like he's playing it aggressive still.
Yeah, just looking for that opportunity.
I don't get what you mean, Caralo. Oh, huge W. Huge W from Life. Huge, 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 huge. They just lost Flash. That's sick.
A little bit telegraphed, I think, was the problem. You know, you saw Delight walking forwards, and trying to flash for the knock-up as well ends up backfiring because of Life's peel in that situation. So
oh, cancellation. Maokai was being racist.
Starting this one off so well.
Yeah. Atlas, he is on the desk today, and he will say that, you know, the Hex Flash actually just better, but, yeah.
I don't know, like, I like Viper so much, it's hard for me to not see his name and think, yeah, he's gonna win the game, regardless of what's going on around him.
Probably would have burned summons from Viper.
I like Viper so much.
That allowed Life to interrupt and let it backfire.
Yeah. As there's the Empress Divide, gonna try to get him before the soul goes back. Zeka did take a turret shot as well, so nice little try. Zeka will hold on to his ultimate though, as Chovy's down his.
Yeah, Chovy got very aggressive there, but I mean that's the power of the Yone is you're very non-committal with your E. And Light's just going to try and help Zeka get the wave pushed in so he can go for a reset.
Alright, a little crasheroo, but Zaza Zeka doesn't have HP.
I think this is really Genji's to take.
He got chunked hard, and Maokai has had time to clear. Oh, the light. Okay, the light. The light on melee supports, we like it. Oh, nice reposition here from Genji. The fact that Paze just gets across and they reposition, I like that.
Doesn't really look like they want to engage on this 4v4, so they'll just back out through the bottom lane.
Yeah, even with the plant, I think that was risky. I think maybe the game plan was get the plant, go on Dragon, Life can cue the Dragon to heal Zeka up, and they wanted to play it slow to get his health back, but Genji make a great call just to challenge immediately and end up getting that advantage. In the top lane, we haven't looked here too
Imagine
much,
if Doran played instead of Sword against IG. I think Griffin was fantastic there in that Worlds, no meme. I thought how they played in group stage was insanely impressive.
No jungler getting into the mix there as Genji.
Then they went to game 5 against IG.
Kind of moving a bit, but not really committing to this just yet. As there
That was the craziest top gap. Ooh, Paze with the sidestep on the Rakan. Oh, Yoni Tromboni. Yoni Tromboni gets one. Shirley Burley. Shirley Burley. Oh! Do you think Zeka Pool is a liability for our life? No. Zeka Pool is a fucking bonus.
And Genji have to pay for that Dragon. Still,
Zeka plays everything that is necessary. He's drawing LeBlanc bans, he has great Azir, great Ahri, and a fucking pocket Yone.
Yeah, and we see, you know, they're trying to get out.
It makes Sejuani so much stronger.
Paze early spell shield manages to avoid pretty much everything, but Zeka coming in with a flash Q into ult. And to be honest, I think maybe if Paze had just gone in with the intention of I'm going to flash over the wall immediately, they might have been able to get out easier. But you could see they were looking for the fight. They were like, we can still handle this. And it ends up backfiring.
PP Gold 69, that's still related to Sword.
Yeah, now take a look at this. They're going to go for a lane swap with the Rift Herald available. How Life Esports want to make a play for the top side objective. And
you know, I'm not necessarily sure that this is better for the side of...
And you're hard coping if you're fucking blaming Chovy for this shit. Saying the main reason Griffin lost was because Chovy refused to play carry. And then he's letting Sword play carry.
4v4, I think Genji might actually be okay with.
Yeah, Griffin year is 2019, and 2018 was IG.
It seems like neither team really making anything happen off it, just a little bit of a contest of vision and some recalls coming in, and Kingen doesn't care about the Sivir.
Yeah, you saw Pace was like angling up.
I was assuming Zeka is going to go Blade Ruin King.
Potential fight for the Rift Herald, and now he's going up there once again. So let's see. I mean, Genji gonna start this one up. We do see a Void Seeker coming through. Kingen still no teleport, like you mentioned. So yeah, I mean, Ornn might be able to get a plate. But at the end of the day, in the 4v4, Genji should be able to hold this angle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think the 4v4 with the Aatrox rather than the Sivir is better. And we saw Paze moving up to potentially cover mid in case they were going to try and pressure mid tower instead. And as a result, King gets a plate. But all in all, Genji happy with the play. They take the Herald in the situation, and they don't really lose. Oh,
trying to make a play under the
alright, beautiful. That's very nice.
He did have flash, but didn't quite expect to be
very good. Huge, huge, huge.
Engage comes in, CC laid really well, and this is the thing with having so many sources of engage, so much follow-up.
That is really big.
Just isn't enough to get you space, and Zeka 3-0 on his Yone. Starting to get worrying. I feel like a lot of fans will be thinking, could they have just banned this pick, you know? They went for the Azir knowing the Yone would come. Yeah. Confident in the matchup.
Well, Onx, I gotta tell you, they had to ban LeBlanc.
Ah, yes, true. Yeah. Zeka, notorious LeBlanc player.
Very important. Had to get rid of that one.
You know, when I think Zeka, I think LeBlanc.
Well, maybe for game 2, they might make some change-ups, even if Genji do win this one. As, let's see the follow-up here. I mean, Chovy's just like, yeah, I should be fine. He wasn't.
Yeah, great setup. Also, Life getting the W not interrupted by the Empress Divide. A little bit late, unfortunately, from Chovy, and Zeka doing a great job of being the vessel for Life to get in with that engage.
Yeah, definitely. definitely a really good job. I like that HLE Esports, they pick a comp like this, and they're not scared to get their hands dirty, right? They didn't go in on the fight where they felt like they couldn't win, but on the Dragon fight and on this dive here in mid, it was like a full committal. Everybody's on the same page. They're going in, and even for the top fight, which for the Rift Herald, which it seemed like they were setting up for, they just decided, okay, well, we're not going to win this one. So
I don't know. I think in the final four, I'm worried about Faker's performance.
Smart decision on when they should go for a fight and when they have an advantage, but also they've made Genji pay every time they've looked for something. You know, they got the Dragon.
I think in the KT series, I think that the most disappointing players were just Keen and Lehens.
And they're just trying to make sure that nothing is given over for free.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good plays so far, and HLE Esports keeping this interesting again. The setup for this
What's up, Mr. Nielsen?
Definitely the big favorites coming into this.
We're rooting for
really
HLE.
sure what to expect, especially after, even though it was two different teams, we did have a big upset in the first.
It's fucking Viper Zeka King and dude.
Let's see how this one is going to go, as Doran underneath the turret is trying to proxy it as this Rift Herald is coming down, but it doesn't look like Jovi's going to get any played, so that just goes only over to Peanut, who is playing Maokai.
Yeah, another best person to have it ultimately, and we are seeing the...
My favorite player on the Rift is Viper.
Here, so no demonic first, so a bit less damage there, but they're once again starting up this Dragon. It was a Chemtech first, so...
Alright, Genji are connecting for the Drake. TP, Ornn is coming in. 3k HP. Sejuani ult. Oh, Yonich.
That's gold just gone. Is Zeka not able to do anything, and it's 2 kills onto Doran on his Aatrox, so Genji coming ahead massively in this fight.
So well played there
Whoa.
from Chovy and Doran, knocking Zeka, and while he's in the air, landing the Q3 sweet spot. Zeka had flash, Zeka had ult.
Jesus.
In fact, if you look at HLE Esports, 4 flashes up and unavailable, none of them used. And it was clear Genji were very confident, very ready for that fight to start, and HLE Esports didn't respond in time. Now, they're not going to target Paze, but...
Not like this, Zeka. He is going to ult in onto Paze, and maybe he gets to safety under the turret. Maybe I spoke too small.
Whoa.
Very nice buffer. He is going to get to safety against...
Zeka, you need to relax, man.
Teleport that was used to try to match that.
Yeah, ends up being...
Yeah, that was my main concern, right? It's like... Jax and Renekton was open, and Hanwha didn't have room to squeeze an Aatrox pick, and then you have pick Ornn.
It's something at least. Oh, that's pretty big actually. Stopping the recalls. No one's in position to answer mid, but still.
Aatrox is just such a scaling demon now.
Massive benefit is on this one. And look, the thing is,
Let's see Zeka again.
He doesn't have TPs miles away, so
He just fucking queues into a Maokai ult.
Delete Zeka before he can do anything. And you can see HLE Esports wanted to slow play that. They
Impossible fight.
There, and they just wanted to buy time. And Genji refused to let that happen.
Yeah, and Zeka must have been
that's what I said, Grimmy Cat.
Invulnerable in a bit. He's so far ahead. He's so fed, and he has the flash. He has so many tools. But when you just get 100 to 0 like that, keep in mind that Doran had Duskblade finished, right? And that's not going to be great into Ornn, but it's amazing into Zeka, right? Into Yone, who's not building any armor.
Case review is tomorrow, yeah.
Ridiculous.
So
it's gonna be before LCS starts.
Seconds, the guy's just dead.
Yeah, I mean, so bursty with this build that we've seen with the Duskblade. It looks like he might be going Black Cleaver second, because we saw the Edge of Night from Zeus second, which was very squishy, very feast of
Why when hitting a tower are they walking back and forth? It's just, it's like, it's a muscle memory thing to like just move between your basics. And in a lot of situations, well, not a lot, but in situations where you get ganked or you get attacked, you're already tethering your movement for the exit, you know?
I think it's a great choice here. Obviously, the Andrews would be phenomenal to cut through the front line, but I think here it's a lot more about surviving. And the Crown is just going to force...
keeps you lights on your feet, exactly.
HLE Esports to try and proc it before the fight, and the only tool they really have to do that is Kai'Sa W's, which can be blocked by your front line.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And we've kind of changed our tune on the Crown. Especially in spots like this, I think it's definitely...
King, this is your champ. Look at what he's doing to you with your champ.
He doesn't have a finished item yet.
There are definitely spots where it's very overrated, but I think this is one of them. And yeah, Kingen hasn't finished an item here. He was already behind the top lane matchup. You know, we saw Doran get him plates, but now with the 2 kills, the shutdown given over, this is not looking fun.
Yeah, and it's what I meant. Oh, we're not gonna have time for that. Actually,
Yeah, Aatrox does play this a bit greedy, yeah, but
one as it's just free food is the Ornn in this game, and it's like I was saying,
very killable.
Like, Aatrox just gets a free lane. He's just sitting here, scaling against the Ornn, waiting for the one big team fight to get fed.
Yeah, this Aatrox is very killable, but if he doesn't die, then he kills everyone. So
he's gonna get the tower, and it's a great read.
you could say it's a double-edged duck blade.
Esports are expecting some contest on the top side. They heavily commit for the Herald, and clearly Kingen just not expecting for Peanut to be there.
Yeah, well, that was close, but
you know, it's not easy to punish a Yone when he's in a Soul Unbound because there's very sort of little window to CC him, but the light's been a little bit off this game, if I'm going to be honest. His Alistar's not been as good as we've typically seen it. Maybe just warming up in this one, but yeah, not being the hottest. And actually, Doran going for Sorel the second, so going the glass cannon build still.
This is complete bazooka joy Aatrox.
So even though Kingen hasn't finished an item, when he does finish the item, it's going to be not as effective as
Battle Cruiser operational.
It's a very interesting build, and I like the idea, especially when you're going against Ornn Sejuani. Just tons of armor stacking that is going to come through from both of those two. It is very squishy, as you mentioned, so you may need to rely on some of the resets, but Doran has been solid so far, so
I think
he'll be able to pilot it.
The thing with Aatrox is his base stats are so high, and also he gets so much healing, that even with this build, he still feels quite tanky. You know, and especially since Hard Life Esports only have 2 damage threats who are quite bursty. If you don't get bursty,
yeah, I thought Peanut also should be first.
To cut through. Obviously, don't get me wrong, right? Yone and Kai'Sa do have a lot of sustained damage, but I think if they don't kill Doran quickly, he might just be able to heal through that.
Yeah. And by the way, it is Infernal Soul. Zeka is top. He has teleport. You see Vipers in mid.
I was expecting like I was expecting like Keen, Peanut, Chovy, Lehens. Like aiming is not a bad shout, honestly.
But every single time Genji,
but I thought Deft like belongs. Like Deft was like such a positive for Damwon, I think. But aiming, I think aiming is not egregious.
Also, the fact it gives extra wave clear as well. Hard Life Esports don't have a great comp for CG.
Aiming being first is not egregious.
They already have good wave clear. They will just one-shot waves once they have the Infernal Soul, which will be very awkward to deal with when you're already at a deficit.
Yeah, no, it's.
But I have to say as well, I didn't watch all LCK games religiously, so.
Smite that one down, and again, he went for this very tanky build. Just going to throw out the ultimate. We have a teleport in behind this one. 2 teleports actually. As now Zeka's like, oh crap, I guess we're just going to run away. So Kingen and Zeka TP in, and then they run away.
Yeah, and Genji are super happy with this. Not only
we're not playing Walter's Gate today, I think.
But also, they burned both TPs, because I think despite Hard Life Esports being behind, Zeka in a side lane was like the potential winning formula. Yeah. But with him now burning TP, it gives Genji a much
I like that Hard Life never let go of side.
They're TPing Chovy in to make sure
it's like their comp is much worse playing on mid waves, and yeah, just never letting go of side and letting Viper clear because he has static shift. I like that a lot.
25 gold over to Chovy. So yeah, Genji are kind of smashing this first game. Yeah,
and you know, I think Hard Life Esports had some good moments in the early game, but as we've got towards the mid game, it feels like Genji are just trading up, right? They got that bot lane play, and then Hard Life Esports got Herald, but then we see a situation where the Herald gets nothing. You know, they got the red buff in the enemy jungle, and the 2 TPs come in, but then again, Hard Life Esports aren't able to find an angle, and it's starting to feel a bit rough. I will say one thing with the way the compositions differ, if Hard Life Esports find that engage, that right engage, they are still able to win from a deficit, but it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, Crown Azir is great.
And the thing is as well, because his Aatrox is so fed, even if you kill Azir, even if you kill
I think the anti-Crown Azir crowd,
the Aatrox is running rampant, it might not be enough.
Yeah, it's the triple
too much theory, I think.
And I do feel like it's part of the reason why the LCK has moved away from playing tanks on the top side. When you have someone like Doran on Aatrox who is 3-0, it's like, did you even need Chovy and Pays? But you also have those. It's just like you've got all these different presents in your arms and you can hardly carry them all.
I think compared to MSI patch, where AD carry was so broken and it was just about them, they're not as strong now, and it is much more about having multiple carries. Like, you can't just have Jinx will solo the whole
Yeah,
fight.
this is looking rough for sure.
And as a result, these compositions, these compositions have done so well. And ultimately, Life Esports, they need...
Item-wise, they can contest. Item-wise, they can contest. They have 2 Cornion and Kaiser. Kaiser can also spot with W. Let's see if Peanut gets a little nutty butty R here on Maokai. Oh, solid. Genji's kind of cold with it, man. Kind of cold with it, man. They saw the Kaiser base on Nash's Tooth and
it's a perfect
they slammed it.
A minute and a half until Infernal, so Genji can reset, push the lanes up, and Life Esports are not going to be able to contest the Dragon if they can't get out their base. So
just get a free Baron like that. That was on Kaiser base.
Or find an engage. They need to force a fight immediately. As soon as Genji get back on the map, they need to kill someone so they can fight this Dragon, because if they don't, it's not only going to be the Baron for Genji, they will just pick up Soul for free as well.
Yeah, I mean, this graph is getting exponential at this point.
Like, you know, when people ask me, like, where would C9 finish in LPL? Like, are they practicing in China for 4 months? Or how are we doing? Like,
but the second he got killed on the Hextech Drake, it's like they were just deflated. They're like, okay, well, we can't do anything.
What's up, Night Shadow?
You know, he was fed and he still is, but he's nowhere near the level of Doran.
or like, is the C9 in current form?
Not really. Doesn't really feel like they believe.
Current form C9, bro.
They have to find one. They have to make it. I feel like if there isn't a window, then just burst through the wall is the answer. In
I think current form C9.
Dragon, I think it's just very doomed. You can see the TP
it's
coming
like,
in. Looking for Zeka here.
This Aatrox.
It's like how many games can Berserker carry, you know?
Okay, like he is so fed, and look at life, he's just gonna disappear.
I don't think they make playoffs, by the way. Current form C9. They just got thrown into a bracket where they have to play all 17 LPL teams. I don't think that they get to playoffs.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, we're talking about Life Esports need to be the one to start the fight. Gen G started. They're so confident themselves, they find the angle, and by doing so, eliminate the possibility for Life Esports.
Do you think that UCal's team wouldn't beat C9?
With this gold lead, I think this is game one. It could be over and done.
Yeah, certainly does feel that way. As we do have Kingen upgrading his first item as the Infernal Soul is going to Gen G. So if you were...
yeah, I think IG would beat them, NIP would beat them.
No. Not a lot of maybes in this
World Elite would beat them.
Infernal Soul is the definitive answer here. And Genji now still with a bit of Baron buff.
Man, this Aatrox,
it's like
the Q3
they would annihilate C9.
Oh god. It is so scary. Oh, he's sunbound.
Rebozo.
Sweet spots, by the way. There was no sweet spots.
Smoking the loudest pack. This is such a Gen Z draft boot side, as I mentioned before.
Just to kind of see how much damage it did, but even so, Doran is just doing so much damage. Really taking over this game.
Yeah. It's not even about the Azir and the Sivir, as we mentioned before.
It's like Hama Life, right?
If Hama Life Esports were going to challenge them, if the
this game, maybe they would have pushed for end if Hama Life actually took the best odds fight and just fought all in on this Drake. Because like, what are they waiting for? I feel like in terms of like playing the odds game, this is something that LCK could do better, you know?
This could be the window.
It's like, which fight is going to be better?
Need to find a fight, because I think that the game is just slowly
The best fight they can take, even though it's losing, still losing. It's like when a team fight is losing, they don't take it. But there is no analysis of a fight being much more losing later on in the game. But what do they want to accomplish in this game, you know?
But the thing we praised
is the shy on Aatrox.
You know, waiting for the right fight, the right opportunity to take it. The thing is, when you're this far behind, it's not going to be a good fight that'll show up. You just have to take the best fight available, and if you lose, let's be real, the game's over anyway. But I think they're just waiting too long. They need to force something, because all that happens is Genji getting further ahead, and people keep getting picked off. And here,
it's not Hama Life only.
Once you use the E as an attempt to escape, it's just over. There's nothing you can do. They know you're coming back, and you're not strong enough to turn it around.
It's not even Hama Life specific. I think a lot of teams in the LCK do this. You saw the news about the death threats to Faker? No.
Oh my lord, that difference.
How's that news?
It's almost 5,000, 25 minutes in. And take a look at the items. You got a stopwatch for Doran. He was squishy. Now he can survive for a bit. We have Zhonya's finished here for Chovy. We have a stop.
Did he get threatened in real life or like on the internet?
This is the problem as well, because what happens is if you don't try and force fight, we
Lowering
get to
your
this
bob.
point where Doran, Chovy, and Pays all have flashes and all have stasis. So even if you look for an engage now, it's not going to work. You need to try and force these cooldowns from them so that when it comes to like Infernal Soul or Baron or Elder, you have something.
Ah,
if they
okay.
don't fight for 3 minutes, they will lose.
It might sound crazy,
too
but
much on the side of Gen G to counteract the engage. So
it's like Korea.
it's gonna seem desperate, but they have to go for something.
Everything internet based, they track super well, and they take shit like that super serious.
Earlier than that, yeah.
The best time was 7 minutes ago. The next best time is right now.
Yeah. Some motivational posters here for Homa Life Esports.
But also it's like Korea, like Faker is one of the most public figures like that esports has ever had, if not the most, yeah, probably the most known esports player of all time. There's gonna be people that are gonna threaten them.
And you can see that Homa Life Esports, they certainly don't want to.
If you just want to be completely pragmatic about it.
Because they're extremely tanky. One of them is Alistair, who has ult, and the other one is Peanut, who's level 13, green smite, 2 armor items.
Bro, I get death threats, and I'm fucking sitting here, like, just watching games.
Okay, they're trying to go for it here. As King is just going to flash away. We do have the teleport coming in, but immediate stopwatch.
All right, Edge of the Night. The Shy, boom. All right, boom. Chovy uses crown. GG.
Sweep him into the pin. That's going to be the end of this one as Viper, he wishes he could do anything as, oh God!
Don't look away!
Cover your eyes!
Oh my
Please don't
lord!
look anymore!
That was just brutal.
Where are your emotions for the game?
Oh man, yeah. Not okay. Really not okay, but phenomenal game from Gen G.
How am I lost
I felt
now?
like Unlike Esports put up a decent contest for a little bit. It was kind of like, you know, the game one we saw from them when they last played each other in week 9, where Unlike Esports started strong but couldn't follow through.
Yeah.
GG.
Gen G, they got that one dragon fight and it felt like they just took control and didn't let it go since then.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gen G going to take down the Nexus. That's game number 1 in really just straightforward fashion. Like, they just bopped them over the head with the hammer. Like, there wasn't much that Homa Life Esports had in the tank after this. So we're really going to have to see a switch up in game number 2, like we did from T1 in the first best of 5. I keep, drawing comparisons because, if Homa Life Esports are going to win this one, it's also going to be.
Yeah, I think if Jackson and Necton is out, I think Aatrox should be one, dude.
Almost even better than KT's game 1 yesterday.
Homa Life just did the T1 mistake.
Really consistent, never really
I like the Sivir in this game. I think Sivir was a good pick here.
Yeah, and I think Homa Life Esports started strong, but they just lost that confidence as soon as
I think that Drake fight was terrible from Zeka.
So many engage tools, we saw so few engages, and I think I would have preferred to see them just send it and lose quickly than to try and wait for this window that was never coming. But regardless, it's game 1.
KT the real loser of this game.
They're going to be on blue side presumably now, and hopefully have an opportunity to trim.
Alright guys, live model reaction to next game.
Azir was obviously piloted very well by Chovy, but I think for me the bigger issue was probably the Maokai and also the top matchup, right? Doran had a free lane on the Aatrox and just took over, but also the Maokai feels so suffocating to play against. That massive, hugely wide ultimate that just covers, basically the whole river, makes
the real
so
wide
hard.
Boris in this jungle matchup is the Maokai ultimate.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. Just felt like Gen G never gave them an opportunity to get one wombo combo, to get one engage that wasn't a Yone that one time. So game number 1, very one-sided. Gen G going to take it down here in pretty fast fashion. We're going to take a break and come back with the space. We'll be right back.
근데 여기서는 그냥 먼저 봐도 되는데.
볼까 이거?
텔 탈게
그냥 오른부터 때리죠. 오른부터.
나 공 아낄게.
오른 노플.
이거 안돼. 할게.
잘
나이스.
빠졌다. 라칸 노공.
오른부터
오른 잡았어. 얘들아.
다 뛰었어.
좋아.
카이사 노플.
카이사 노플.
카이사 노플이야 이거.
그냥 끝내려가자.
카이사 노플이고 이거 잡으면 끝나. 야 근데 미드로 가면 되겠다.
나머지 미드가. 나이스.
여러분의 환호 함성과 함께 시작하겠습니다.
대전 마이 시티.
요즘 파티예요 아주. 마지막에 이기는 게 최후의 승자죠. 빅게임의 악마 모드 옷.
Hello, welcome back to this. Welcome, rather, to the space for the first time today, as Genji expectedly so takes game 1 against Hanwha Life Esports. But the early game, we had a bit of hope if you're a Hanwha Life fan here, because dive composition on one side, playing range, scaling, I want to say, on the other, on the side of Genji. But in the early game, they kept the ball running.
I mean, Atlas and I really liked the draft for Hanwha. We were kind of watching this going, all right, well, they got everything they wanted. They got Zeka on Yone. It's a Yone Sejuani composition. And obviously the Ornn coming through here was a big, strong point, we thought, for us. Going to give you some additional scaling later on. Those ornaments going to help the Kai'Sa. And also Kingin just very good at the champion.
Yeah, he's been notable in this matchup for a really long time, which is why we sort of highlight it. Outside of that, the 2v2 of Maokai Azir has often been a little bit underwhelming, especially in the early stages of the game. We did see that kind of occur in the very early stages, but the amount of control that Gen G managed to get afterwards was pretty prevalent. And I think we've got something we can talk about as well as far as the win rate between both the Aatrox and the Ornn. You can see 18-13 is the historical matchup. It has always been Ornn favored. It still is, although a little bit less now, considering the fact that we do have some buffs to the late game of the Aatrox. But you build lethality, generally, an armor stacking tank will be better.
Yeah, that's the thing. Aatrox doesn't pop off at the same time it used to. I feel we also saw that in the game, but we were mentioning the early game and what went well on the side of Hanwha Light. So let's roll the clips here and see what happened, because Zeka got fed, mid-jungle 2v2 was really working on their side, and then...
I just really feel like Hanwha really know how to play around Zeka's Yone, and I love this call here to actually hard force and not allow Genji to get the Drake and just walk away with it. Zeka ends up getting a double here, and Leifeld set this up, and he's willing to sacrifice himself to get these advantages. Then they're like, all right, we got 2 kills on Zeka. This is going to be our win condition. They have great vision here. Life knows Chobi's coming back to mid, and Zeka can cut him off here at the pass. He uses his dash early, so the setup here is really nice. There's not really much Chobi can do in this dive. Grizzly also set up there over the wall. And now you've got this fed Yone, so things are looking even better for Hanwha. Zeka's one of his best champions. He's got 3 kills. They should be able to carry this game, right?
Well, like, that's the whole thing. Like, the whole composition is based around, can we snowball from our mid-jungle duo? And at the beginning, you're like, oh man, it's all working out. Like, we've seen this composition so many times. Maybe the Ornn is a little bit off in the current meta, but otherwise we know exactly how this one's supposed to work. So much engaged, so many opportunities. You go in, you get the kills, and that's what they were doing. And unfortunately, you can't stop the tape right there and just say Hanwha won, because that's not how it worked out.
No, and I'm just wondering, we can talk about this clip here, because with a dive composition like this, they need to keep on forcing play, especially when you have the Maokai ult on the other side and you're not even able to contest any objectives. So what could have Hanwha done better to stay in the game?
I think that the setup here wasn't great, and Gen G knew that the target selection was fantastic. They knew, even though Yone is really hard to lock down, they actually chained that CC together really well, made sure he couldn't snap back to his soul. So he's actually just isolated and killed. They pick up a huge shutdown. Doran gets 2 kills here. The Aatrox becomes the main character in this game. I think if Hanwha had played that out a little bit safer, that was not the fight they had to hard force. Zeka was completely out of position, but thought he could get that old angle. It's kind of the dichotomy between the first fight we saw there and the second one, right? Where Zeka hard forced the first one really well, took that risk. The second one, a little bit too much there, and that's actually where they lost control of the game.
Yeah, and as soon as they're not coordinated, it just doesn't really work. And we saw that if Gen G gets set up, the Nature's Grasp really does kind of tear this composition apart. If that setup isn't there and you have to walk into Hanwha Life Esports, they get to use all of their pick options in order to kind of ruin your phalanx, then it can work a little bit differently. And they didn't use their advantage in order to get extra vision around these Drakes. And from that point on, Gen G took, I think it was everything for the next 15 minutes, and Hanwha Life Esports got 1 turret. They didn't even try to contest anything until it was way too late.
That's the thing. It seemed like it was a loss of confidence in the later stages of the game, where it doesn't work, we're not going to try anything at all. But playing for Gen G here, who should be the player of the game? It was a tricky one to...
It is a difficult one. I think Doran was the most flashy.
Yeah, I mean, look, Doran actually had this matchup, right? We talked about how we like Kingen on the Ornn here, but this is the back-breaking moment, essentially, here, when Doran is able to help isolate and kill Zeka. He ends up picking up a bunch of money here, including that shutdown. But Doran also made Kingen look very uncomfortable in the matchup, even though it's actually his 2nd and 3rd most played champions. Kingen 3rd most being that Ornn, the Aatrox being his 2nd, so he should understand the matchup very well. I think Doran is just completely on form right now. Obviously, after he got those kills, who cares about like how he plays out the lane? He's just so ahead, it's not going to really work. Like that he went Sorelda 2nd here, though, and when he had the money, he used it to its fullest potential.
No, he absolutely did. And I think that was what Hanwha Life Esports identified, was the fact that the 2 kills that happened in that Dragon fight were for this Aatrox. And that just made sure that he was able to stop Hanwha Life Esports from doing anything. Like, he wins all side lanes against every option. Like, it's just doomed.
I think it was expected to see Gen G take this one, but on the side of Hanwha Life, if you want to keep the hopes alive, do you reset completely the approach you have in draft, Or do you keep on going, but trying a bit more this time and playing to your comp strength, which they did not do?
I think they get another chance with a comp like this. I think they could play a similar style of draft if Gen.G lets them, and they can have a better early game, because they made that one mistake where Doran got fed. I think if that doesn't happen, absolutely playable here for Hanwha. I actually like that they stay on red side here, get those solo lane counter picks. Still viable here. I don't think they need to change it up just yet. You lose it again with a comp like this, though, then we can have that conversation.
Yeah, and maybe ban the Maokai. It felt like they just couldn't play around it even a little bit. And so just get that off the table and then try and reset with a different structure next time around. And just hope that you get that same draft, because I honestly loved that draft for Hanwha Life Esports. Maybe adjust as far as the top side is concerned if Kingan's not that confident, but otherwise feeling good.
We'll see if Gen.G can let them get away with it, as we're going to go to game 2. Casters, take it away.
Thank you, space people. They're breaking it down. As Hanwha Life, yes, they will move back onto the red side as, you know, give them one more chance. Maybe ban away the Maokai into the Vi.
Yep.
And run it back. You know, we all saw that draft and we thought it was pretty good, but it really just did come down to the team execution and coordination as to potentially why they did not win that game. Also, the fact that Gen.G is just kind of
pretty good,
really good at the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's a safe statement. The thing is, I feel like Vi, as much as Vi is like a strong pick objectively and is frustrating to play against because of point and click CC, in terms of what she offers to the composition Gen.G had and what she would do compared to Maokai, it's not as significant. The Maokai counteracted the Hanwha Life Esports composition so well, made flanks harder because of the saplings. So I think if they're going in a similar direction, they want to approach the draft in a similar way, that makes sense as adaptation. That's definitely a tweak I would look to do. And the thing is, you know, sometimes teams, they got a new side, they lose a game, like, let's just completely redo draft. But if Hanwha Life Esports are prepped for this draft, and they must have expected a lot of the picks coming out from Gen.G, I think it's easier to just tweak, to just adjust, you know? You've gotten this information from game 1. What was a problem, what worked, what didn't? Maybe another change in game 2 is you go for the K'Sante instead of the Ornn, right? For a bit more lane pressure to contest the Aatrox, not just give him a complete freebie, because Doran was proxy farming pretty early on with a massive CS lead.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Yeah. Or maybe it's just Kingan wasn't on his A game and they think the matchup is fine. He just needs to... A lot of things can go into this, ultimately.
Certainly. I personally, I don't know. I feel like Ornn is really struggling in this current meta. And, you know, Lane in the past definitely was very nice towards the Ornn side, but it just feels like if you're not matching the Aatrox and what he brings to the mid-game team fights, he can just, again, just fly off into the stratosphere. But let's see what Hanwha Life Esports think as we are going to move into game number 2, into the draft. The Vi ban will stay. The Renekton ban first in the Rel, so same 2 first bans.
I think what we've seen in the LPL is they've used top lane tanks a lot more, whereas in the LCK, it's been the triple threat comps, and they've been winning out, so... I think from that perspective, the Ornn just not really working as well, but maybe we've seen, you know, LCK teams scrim in LPL and Ornn's been working for them. Regardless, we've seen the same bans from Gen.G, which makes sense. Why would they need to adapt when things have been going well? And the same bans once again from Hanwha Life Esports. So Maokai first pick, there's no reason to change that, ultimately, for Gen.G. He was so good in that previous game. And the question is, what will Hanwha Life Esports tweak in this situation? You know, I think Kai'Sa still makes a lot of sense, but they could potentially go for like Aatrox, Sejuani here, Yone on 3. They lose the Kai'Sa as a result, though. But to be fair, they could take the Kai'Sa here and then, you know, Sejuani on 3. You lose the Yone, but at least you deny the Kai'Sa away, because Gen.G could, in theory, flex the Maokai to support or even top. But it doesn't seem super likely. They're kind of deliberating here what they want to do. They're going to go for the Azir themselves, so a bit of a change in terms of compositions, right? It was Gen.G with a more defensive composition with the Azir Aatrox, and Hanwha Life Esports say, you know what? I want to give that a go.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 when Gen.G got Aatrox was that they spent their 3rd pick on Yone, which means that Gen.G could ban out 2 top laners that could, well, at least one, at least the Rumble, that could be good into the Aatrox. Hanwha Life Esports don't have that opportunity this time. They have to let the Rumble go over. Gen.G immediately snaps that one up.
Oh.
As Sejuani.
I'm not a fan. I feel like the power of the Sejuani is syncing with the Yone. You know, Aatrox isn't the most auto-attack reliant champion. It doesn't sync as well. And you've given up the Kai'Sa, which I think was still a great pick. And here, Gen G have adapted fantastically. They don't match the Aatrox with the tank. They go the Rumble for lane pressure. You have the Maokai to set up for the Rumble ult with all that CC. Jace Maokai is that fantastic combination we've seen tons of times. And Jace, the long-range poke, is great into Azir. Go to the next phase, a lot of support bans, but not seeing any towards the AD carries, which is surprising to me. I guess Honor Life Esports, I get it, because they just want the Kai'Sa to be left open, but I think Gen G, I would probably expect them to ban Kai'Sa here. But we'll see. You know, perhaps they're just happy leaving everything open, because if they ban Kai'Sa, Honor Life Esports get first choice of what's left.
Yeah. Rakan's taken away just in case Zaya Rakan is the answer from Gen G. As Honor Life Esports say, please, give us Kai'Sa. We'd like to have that. And with the Nautilus gone, could imagine that a lot of eyes are on that Kai'Sa pick right now. Let's see if they have some other thoughts about it. I mean, still have the Zaya available, obviously without Rakan, but has been a strong choice nowadays.
I think that's the thing, is Gen G kind of said, look, if we ban Kai'Sa, they just get first pick of the next one. Ban all the supports out, thin the pool. We know they have to take Kai'Sa on 4, so now Gen G get first pick on support with this thinned out pool.
Sorry, guys.
They could go for the Zaya still open and available. They could go for the Varus in this situation to pair up with the Jace poke. Both options that
let's switch up.
Looks like they'll
Aatrox 1-2.
the Zaya. I do think Kai'Sa definitely has the edge in this matchup, but considering I think Gen G's top side is already so winning, I think
Aatrox
Zaya
1-2.
will really be okay here.
I think it's already like improvement.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think her ability
But
to be
Gen G
very
also
reliable,
very nice pivot into Rumble Jace.
still makes her very strong, as we might get this Maokai.
I really like these trees that Gen G have built up.
Sejuani, Azir, even Aatrox.
Yep.
But
I think it shows they were toying with the idea, which is kind of the strength, because if
Just ban supports. I think it makes sense to ban supports, honestly.
really dire, they had
I think a lot of the ADs should have a hard time against Azir.
So picking up one of the last engaged supports remaining and providing more lockdown, allowing for the follow-up with things like the Equalizer, like the Shock Blast. Honor Life Esports toying with what to pick, and they go for the Blitzcrank, which is definitely a pick life as a good
I am Coffee and Joyous.
But often Blitz was only really picked when Milio was a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that good here. You know, I feel like the draft in the last game, there were definitely some issues which manifested that came out.
I was just sleeping.
But the cohesiveness on how the comp was supposed to work, I favored it.
What is your guy?
Not over Gen G, but compared to the draft they have now, I feel like the draft they have now is a bit everywhere, and Gen G, pretty happy. You know, if they maintain distance, they have super powerful poke, they have a ton of CC, they have the Equalizer, whereas Honor Life Esports, I don't see how the Blitzcrank really fits in with this composition, and the Sejuani is a lot less impactful.
Yeah,
I don't buy water from the store. The house that I'm living in currently has a nice water filter.
If you get a pick, if you get that one hook on the Jace, who is out of position, maybe you can win a mid-game team fight or regain control from behind.
Oh, thank you for the gift of sub.
Brazil.
No, I was sleeping deep, dude. Like this break between the games was like instant for me.
I actually really like the Taric. You know, you're up against Rumble, you're up against Leona, Maokai.
You don't need water filters in Germany? No, that's cope.
Predictable, engaged
Yes, you do.
And it's not a pick we see all the time, but I think it could have gotten some value. They toyed with the idea. Maybe it was just a hover, but either way, we are.
Moore said in the video that, or in his interview, that they would be the best, that you guys are the best team to fight Europe. So does that mean you guys are going to lose on Sunday on purpose?
I mean, we have to throw a little bit because we face like Mad Lions or SK, and EU's trash.
You just want to crap on them. EU's trash. Core said in the video that,
this is going
Bro, he didn't even believe it when he said it.
As we move into game number 2 of this best of 5, this time.
But he's not wrong.
Gets his hands on his Aatrox. Let's see how this one goes as we hop into the rip for game number 2.
That's TL's mid laner APA.
Gen G up against Honor Life Esports. Game number 1 was, it wasn't really a fast stomp, but it was a suffocation more so, where they were always in control after like 11 minutes.
Yeah. That feels worse, honestly. And Chemtech Dragon first again. I'm here and focused.
He's
no
casting,
Chemtech Souls, which is great. But also, I think when you see a Chemtech Dragon, it puts a lot higher priority.
Yeah, already the fact that Doran is sitting on TP makes me feel worse about the top lane matchup.
And both teams just lose complete interest in the soul. They're like, whatever.
Doran is like,
You see a ward once again down on
if he scales well, I think he team fights well, but that's all he is, I think. I don't expect him to break the Aatrox, but let's see.
Quite back and forth last game. I expect Hanwha Life Esports to do good in the early game. They did in the last one. But really, it's about riding that wave and maintaining the pressure. And I think the big thing is bot. If you get a lead bot, if you manage to find an advantage and free up life to go mid, even maybe to go top, that is what is going to allow Hanwha Life Esports to win this game, is freeing the Blitzcrank. Because I think in the 2v2, unless he finds like
water in Germany is...
they probably ain't doing anything.
It's like, it's not on the level that exists. It's like, you say it's really strict, but in comparison to what?
Did go for Scorch and Teleport. Huni always, if you go Scorch, you go Ignite. If you're going to go Teleport, go for Gathering Storm. That's kind of what he says many times.
It's like, I came from Sweden.
Casting on the Korean side, so a busy man in his own right.
So hopefully saying that right now.
You know, he's probably mentioning something of the sort. Wouldn't be too surprised, but I'm pretty sure that Doran passed the test in game 1, so let's see if he gets across the line anyways. A nice hook comes in onto Delight this time, and Peanut is in the enemy jungle, getting very aggressive onto Grizzly.
I'm not sure what the fuck Peanut's doing.
Charge into him, and push Peanut out.
Yeah, really good grab from Life to burn the flash, but still Cleanse Down for Viper does set up for a potential gank with a flash route from Peanut, so both honestly junglers have a chance to impact the bot lane now, and you know, we're talking about how important this match
No, I think Sweden has bought better water than Netherlands.
Because I think if Grizzly turns up, it's very easy just to flash E to Leona and then pull her in once again. By that point, Sejuani passive is stacked, and
yeah, ice and water is really good.
Grizzly just gonna get back to regular scheduled programming. Bit annoyed by the invade, as we do have a nice combo in the top side. The Rumble can be very good as long as you avoid all of the sweet spots.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of matchups in the Aatrox, the ones that do well, it's like it's great until he lands his combo on you, and then it feels not so good.
Yeah, Genji is never gonna win Worlds with this roster, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he is balanced around.
No way.
If he hits it,
you know what,
he's
Brendan?
good.
I'm gonna have to interrupt.
And if
he's not balanced, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah, I think yeah, that's true.
You know what's the hilarious thing is that they buffed him, and then on next patch, immediately nerf exactly what they buffed. They're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know,
just like Rek'Sai, right?
Yeah, they admitted their mistake. Yeah. Rek'Sai nerfed 5 times since he got buffed, and we still never seen her. Never seen her in pro play. Apart from that one game.
Kingen got to 5 here.
Yeah.
He can crash this wave then. He's super happy. I wonder if he's gonna slam a Hex Drinker or just buy Mercs.
Aatrox, especially when we're getting Renekton and Jax just banned in both games. It just makes it such a
Norway, Sweden.
Pickups, because even though the Rumble is still
I'd imagine Finland too.
The Aatrox is still always going to be viable. It's not going to be the free
Water.
like the Ornn was, but
Disaster.
Still going to have a lot of pressure in the mid game.
Honestly, Aatrox kind of feels like Gwen when she was OP, in the sense that if you don't crush it, it's just going to be so.
I drank bottled water in Switzerland.
And I feel like you really have to do such a good job. And in a game like this, where bot lane is going to be the focus, it does allow the Aatrox just to kind of have a good time in the 1v1. But we still haven't seen a return to bot, and times are ticking. That cleanse isn't far away from being back up. And I would love to see Genji try and capitalize on that before it becomes available.
Yeah, I mean, Peanut could go for the angle here as he figures out how to kill the Raptor there. He is actually in mid as Zeka hits level 6. That's not really going to do much. Now pathing down towards bot. But yeah, these hooks not really landing either.
Well, actually, that did land. It just landed on a minion.
I don't think either team can do Drake.
Goal to bring that minion in.
Yeah, he's thinning out the wave, you know, like he doesn't want to get dove, so he's gonna pull in the
Yeah, blitz wave clear.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Viper's like, I want that minion, but it's a bit too far away. Can you bring it to me? He's like, you know what? I have the perfect ability for that.
Life is, you know, he's just perfect on this pick.
Okay, this is actually a.
Alright, King and based. That's X Drinker based up.
Viper, but maybe Peanut's thinking.
Bold prediction, guys. I think King is gonna solo kill Rumble.
The light will be the focus, you'd think.
Well, the flash is going to come in there trying to take down Life, and it should be as easy as that. First blood given over to Leona as the Ignite Tick is going to pick up the kill, and unfortunately, Grizzly just not in position to help out on that one. Life just gets 100 to 0.
And that's a trick, right? Because Viper's cleanse came back up, but Life never had cleanse. So you could just do that. Yeah, great layering of CC, and again, this Blitzcrank, I feel like it needed to find some momentum in this game. And it's only one death, but definitely not a positive for how Life Esports want the game to go.
Yeah, definitely pretty rough. Nice setup gank here from Peanut, just able to sneak on in, flashes onto Life. Life could have potentially flashed the second he saw the Maokai.
Yeah.
And then maybe he gets enough distance and enough time for Grizzly, but instead, just gonna hold on to that flash for the next time.
I think what you're really scared of is if you flash and you go for it and you're a little late and Maokai's already like flash booted you, then you just been flash and die.
And has a Rumble on top of him, has to blow.
Never mind, Hex Drink is a fake item.
You see that the Rumble wasn't available to be picked as it was banned in the second phase in Game 1, but in Game 2, when Kingen does prioritize this pick.
Beijing water gives you diarrhea, so it's good for weight loss.
That was with Hex as well. That's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
That's it.
The Rumble has a spell book.
Oh man.
A tome. Amp tome.
Oh yeah, he has a whole.
They picked Blitz on 5.
Doran's ring.
Oh, I think that's fair. You know, Doran has his own ring, so I think he should just be able to melt you.
Yeah.
I think it's absurd how much damage that Rumble, how high his base damages are.
What team is good for Viper?
People, like, I mean, obviously AP is nice on him, but that's why Pen is so good for him, because he just absolutely massacres. But even then, he doesn't have any Pen. He doesn't have
JDG.
His base damages are just kind of absurd. And the changes they did to him that kind of brought him in the meta, with him having so much more heat where he's above the heated moment, just makes him so powerful.
So the top lane going pretty heavily in favor as this Maokai that you didn't ban just pressed star on you again, and they took a Rift Herald. How Life Esports not able to respond to this. Life is here in the mid lane, but you know, the supports never even really got a chance to engage on that fight. So it didn't even matter that both of them were here.
I mean, at least Hot Life Esports have a dragon, and next one being Cloud, plenty of potentially good souls coming up, so...
It's Ocean.
I really like Genji's 1, 2, 3 in both games. Like, they really had that shit pinned down, dude.
Okay against the Jace poke.
They just drop bot and ignore Xayah Kaiser completely.
A million bushes to throw saplings in.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's pretty fucking based.
A lot of sneaky stuff to hide in, which can lead to some cool moments. We did see a 3-man, or I think it was actually 4-man Jax Counter-Strike from the brush earlier on this week.
I have no clue what GLaDOS...
But let's see. Don't want to call that one.
GLaDOS took a Yamato cannon nap, and then he injected himself in the conversation.
Yeah.
This is what the mid laners do now.
That's your job. Just push lane and try and find advantages. Zeka's been doing pretty good in the Azir, and you know, for a player who a lot of the expectation on was, you know, you can play melee champs, your Kali's good, your Yone's good, but not as good on mages. He's really shown his proficiency.
What's the rise of the competition?
During this season.
Dude, I don't think that European teams will beat
typically attribute to him. He's been really solid on.
the top LCK teams, top LPL teams. Can they be competitive? Yeah, I think. Considering Worlds is in Korea and teams will have time to bootcamp, I think that's pretty positive.
Yeah, no, he's definitely shown some really nice.
Pretty damn positive
here as a player, so definitely a good shout. As nowadays in this game, doing a good job pushing Chovy into the turret. Chovy still has not backed and teleported back into the lane, so just holding on, trying to be a force.
Aren't like all 4 teams close to each other in LPL? I wouldn't say that Weibo is that close to the other 3.
Yeah, I think they're looking for.
I think the other 3 are like elite, and then Weibo is like good.
Like this, it's very hard to find one mid.
But I don't think Weibo.
And we'll see what they end up going for. With Dragon in a minute 40, they could just lean on that to try and find the angle. We'll see. That'll be the next big point, I think. Second Dragon, we obviously saw this, the Dragon fight, second Dragon in the last game being very impactful. That was kind of what defined it. Here as well, expected to be pretty consequential, and also looking at how Genji used that Herald based on it. We can see they have swapped Pays up towards the top side, looking to potentially make something happen, but Peanut is spotted, so...
Yeah, I agree with Seth Curry.
Unlike Esports should be expecting something to be happening top lane soon.
Yeah, well, Kangan is about to finish his back. There it is, does not have teleport. So I guess they're just going to drop it and get paid some gold.
Jaho and Weiwei are the best performing mid jungle in China.
Chovy TPing in to cover. We did see Viper picking up a second play.
Thousand Knight exists.
Pays here could easily get a ton.
And
they're just not responding to this at all. I mean, they're just going to let this one go down fully.
Kanavi.
Okay, finally. We are going to have the teleport coming in from Zeka, but
and Scout.
Pays picks up 2, maybe even 3 solo plates.
I said them in the wrong order, but you get what I mean.
Split with the jungler, of course.
That was so much, and the thing is, I think Honolife Esports expected Genji to set up for the Dragon, but Genji just were like, no, we'd rather take the gold.
All right, well, Chovy is going to be forced to flash. Definitely a good moment to flash after a mistake like that. You don't want to make things a little bit iffy, especially with the Dragon about to pop up.
The thing is, with them defending top with a TP from Zeka, they gave up control of the bot side river. So, like, at least you know, you've already lost out on the top tower play. It's happened. It's done. But now, because
Hazen was not good in playoffs. Well,
you're not getting Dragon necessarily. It looks like Genji on.
It's too early in the morning for me to read things like this.
Yeah, I mean, they might just give it up and say, well, we made a big play on top. It's okay. It is just the one Cloud. This is going to mean that Genji won't get that springboard into a potential very early soul like they did in game 1. Let's see what it is, as it is Infernal again, so a second...
I think the world would be a better place if people sometimes like accept that they don't know something, rather than like fill every question box with like answers.
Locked into the lane assignments where they couldn't really rotate down towards bot, but now they're looking to amplify the pressure.
I mean, they're gonna hook Peanut here. That's not who you want to be.
For example, like the LCK All Pro.
Yeah, I think Life being there made them not want to go for the dive.
I don't have strong opinions about it because I didn't watch enough LCK.
But you're never really gonna kill him,
and then I add that as an asterisk for my opinion about who should be in the All Pro.
But still, Honolife Esports defend their top tower for a little bit longer, and we are about to see plates fade off in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, and we're definitely gonna see just how many plates went to either side. You did see a couple of plates go the way of Honolife Esports in the bottom lane at least, so they got that. They also got the one plate in mid, which I would assume, based on the amount of time Zeka spent under that tower, he must have picked up at least one from that.
I don't think LCK All Pro was that scuffed.
We'll see in a second. A lot of
I don't get where people get off saying Caps doesn't belong in first. I think that's like insanely troll. I didn't put Yike in my LCK All Pro.
I think it must have just been.
But I don't know. I really.
So he must have not been there for the first one, and Zeka must have not been there.
That part to me is crazy.
Kind of why we're seeing this about 2,000.
Like people are insanely overrating Abadage.
Infernal Soul definitely a nice one to have, but doesn't really matter if you aren't able to capitalize. And this is kind of the point in the game where Honolife Esports started to fall off, and they are already down in gold.
All right, little play up.
Yeah, it's like I put Razork, but I understand why people would want to put Yike.
Peanut and Delight as the W comes through. Chovy's still alive, but the ult is gonna hit him. But
right.
not before we see life go down as well.
Haters TP as a plant.
Teleports into the top side, and Genji, they just want to back off of this one. The zoning ultimate, quite literally, just to stop Honolife Esports from engaging any further.
Yeah, ended up very scrappy there. A lot of people, you know, we saw Honolife Esports come in for Chovy. Chovy nearly gets out because Peanut's there to back him up. But then all of Honolife Esports were as well. And Dorn, why did you go that way?
I think G2 could make playoffs in China. That's about it. And that would be like hard. But if G2 like practice in China,
I guess maybe the thought process was if they stopped chasing him, he could go for a flank. But
I think that
kind of just gave them a kill for free.
It would make them a lot better.
Take the Herald as well.
And they're gonna catch Peanut
Okay.
here as well, who was
Some gifts, some nifty
I'm not
gifties.
100% sure. He's gonna have
Wow,
to
wow.
flash away. Don't think you're ever gonna really steal that one unless Grizzly's doing it alone. So Hama Life Esports taking some steps to come back in this.
Yeah,
game.
I think that was a consensus, by the way, about Nuke. Like BDS was so carried by jungle and bot,
And we end up in this uncomfortable position where, you know, Pays
and then they had like Adam being a wild card.
I think is better than Pays, who's got all his
Nuke
abilities
is
to help,
is an
get
extremely
by it.
uninteresting
But the
player.
result is everything has to be burned to get out. And again, you know, Doran was running towards like Raptor's bush. That was the area he was in when he was leaving. And instead he like looped around top for some reason.
Well, we have a turret down.
Alright, Jovi's 1 HP. Gets saved by Delight.
Here to support him and
A
escort
rapper's
him
delight.
out. So maybe a first item buy for Jovi finally, as he was spending some time up in the top lane and nearly got punished again.
Just feels like a lot of the play so far. Oh, Zeka.
Oh, well, he is going to shuffle
Damn.
all the way into
Holy.
his own jungle. Has that one blocked
Camera.
life as well.
Camera
Still
work.
the queue to come in, no flash available.
Oh, flash of delight. Oh, can people hover for us? Kaiser, anyone? Oh, we just, okay. Nah, they're just too good. They're just too good, by the way.
In that entire trade.
Holy, that's a really big swing for Hammer Life. They just came back into the game of this. No Leona flash for Dretsky.
Delight very narrowly missing the E flash there.
Holy moly. Big win, big win. It's not even mental win, bro. Like, they got bot turret, Aatrox is turbo fed. I wonder if Aatrox has gold for Dustplate. Nah, he doesn't. No way, Jose. It's a cheaper mythic, maybe.
15. This would be third for Honor Life Esports.
Yeah, I mean, they're just
Oh, this is a biggie, man.
They have total control on the bottom side of the map, as you mentioned. No ability to teleport, not that they do have teleport.
I think now it's like...
Let's see how this one is going to go.
You reach 2 core on Hammer Life.
You can have it. Hammer Life Esports, they're going to take an Infernal Drake.
They hate anyone attacking Nuck.
Everybody on their side really going to enjoy
I'm not attacking Nuck. And if people are upset about me having an opinion about how well a player plays, then why would I be concerned with this?
Triple Dragon. Honor Life is going to be a threat throughout the game. No longer can you give up a dragon in return for a
Well, you say Nuck is uninteresting?
inhibitor tower.
I think besides Casio, I think that he hasn't done much as a player.
So much harder.
I think he's a passenger in the victories of BDS.
Teams kind of avoiding too much action. Genji trying to go for it, but kind of fumbling a little bit. And all of the dragons we haven't had.
Will you make a video or something about All Pro Vote? There is already a video.
Just been collecting them like pass and go. Chovy's back here on the top side, but he's getting out farmed.
I put Crowny, like the MVP vote is not out, but I put Crowny as my third.
Negated immediately. Very common item purchase in Jace nowadays is Grizzly.
And then you know what I think about BDS.
And once again, King's getting some alone time in the bottom lane.
Yeah, he's just kind of seen him a lot, just bot, just farming.
Yeah, the French community is extremely supportive of their countrymen, and that's super nice. That's good.
As you said, really far ahead. So, I don't know if Esports looking a lot more comfortable. When we factor in, things kind of backfired massively for them at like the 11-minute mark. We're in a situation here where they're still in a good spot. They are behind in gold by about 2,000, but I don't think it's too much of an issue when you have those dragons in pocket. And I think the game is all going to come to a head at this 4th dragon. And it really comes down to how Genji approach it. They haven't fought one so far. They need to not only win the fight, but also secure the dragon. At least they'll be able to transition it into a Baron.
Nah, the Larson thing, bro. Larson had a good week 3, and that's it. He had a good week 3 in summer. I was impressed by his week 3.
Playing Jace, but we haven't really noticed it doing too much in the game so far in terms of damage.
I'm really surprised that this is a conversation that is even entertained. Like, it's so funny to me. Very, very funny to me.
Yeah, and we actually see the AD Kaiser coming out from Viper, so not going to have as much poke as we typically see. Means Chovy's going to be pretty uncontested when it comes to setting up.
And I don't think G2 All Pro, I don't think Europe All Pro is the same as LCK All Pro, by the way.
And land the poke, but it's honestly pretty unfortunate that's an Infernal map for them, because one of the things with the Infernal map is the lack of rushes for the Maokai, but also with that wall knocked out near the blue buff, it's so much easier to push in. If the enemy team has control of an area, normally you have to walk all the way around that big wall to get to approach from a different direction.
Yeah,
but here,
I understand if people like the flavor of Yike.
So
I get that.
Get there early, but I'm not sure that's going to stop Honor Life Esports from pushing in.
Well, I feel
Yeah, I don't see a world where Kaz is better than Peanut, for example. Like that one is pretty egregious to me. Another thing that is strange about the Korea All Pro vote is that they don't reveal the votes, right? So what if we're in a situation where, let's say, everyone voted differently, but the conclusion was that this is the first place All Pro? They did? It's public? I didn't see the thing.
We just really need to see one of these teams do something on this Dragon, especially Genji.
No, the European one is public.
Especially with Rumble, I mean, traditionally, way back in the day when Dragon used to give gold and was super valuable, Rumble was like the king because he was so good in those Dragon fights. And
Okay.
as much as that's not, the game is very different now, that still kind of holds true that in those early Dragon fights, Rumble can just do so much, and Genji haven't. So we'll see. They have picked up some big spikes, right? Like they have the Navori for Pays, they have the Manamune finished for Chovy, but it is Honor Life Esports who are on the objective first, but both teams looking to set up here.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you can't just give this one for free.
Poppybot, does he know? Do you know what Katie's scoreline was?
Actually getting some value. Again, Peanut's pretty tanky, but he still has to flash away. And now that's flashed down on your Maokai. He still holds on to the Nature's Grasp as Honor Life Esports just running up the Baron, actually. They say we've chunked out Peanut enough, and the Drake isn't spawned yet. Might as well go for it.
Why not just immediately flash as Peanut? You know in that situation you're going to have to flash, but by holding off, he ends up getting chunked and now isn't there for Baron, and Genji trying to...
Oh, this game was just a rerun of the previous game, bro.
All right, trying to go for a Solar Flare steal.
Two teams with very poor risk assessment in the game, and the winning team just keeps on winning. All right, 740 damage. 740 damage. Oof. Yeah, G2 All Pro, G2 being All Pro is completely fair.
Dragon, this game has gone from a slow, stable kind of back and well, not really back and
Viper
forth,
being smooth with it, man.
To completely out of control, and Honor Life Esports are going to take two massive objectives as a result. The Light tries to go for the steal, but it's a bit too early. And then here, Light with the grab forces both the flash from Duran and Pays' ult. And things look good here for Genji, but they overcommit. Chovy flashing over the wall to burst the Sejuani. Not the greatest play, and then Kane gets a beautiful Q3, 845 damage there to Chovy, just deletes him.
What do you think about Jankos not being top 3? I think that's fine. Holy shit, she's crying.
And I would be too, if, you know, this is confusing. The Light in a really uncomfortable spot.
Yeah, so Keen 100%. Here the Peanut voters are based. Peanut voters based as fuck. Peanut voters should definitely be the one. Like, Peanut voters, Chovy, aiming, Lehens. That would be my top.
Looks like it. I feel like the thing is with the previous game is Honor Life Esports got behind and the game just slowly closed out where they didn't really have control. Genji tried to send it hard, tried to come back in the game with a big fight, which, you know, I kind of respect, but it has resulted in the game very quickly falling out of their control. Infernal Soul for Honor Life Esports is going to be very painful to deal with.
Yeah, definitely will be. Honor Life Esports a very balanced approach. They take everything on the map.
I did not watch all the regular seasons of LCK.
Take a look once again as...
Yeah.
I've talked about this so many times, but I always add this as a caveat. That's why I don't feel so passionate about this.
On that subject, and then we get the follow-up here, where Genji are like, look, we got to fight now. got to try and defend the tower, I guess. I don't know. It's just very weird. Someone gets picked and they're like, Doran comes in just to get killed as well. Genji kind of crumbling a little bit in this one.
Yeah,
I think CV Max.
Looked a little bit off kilter ever since the early game.
CV Max says his list is like, yo, these are the players that deserve the biggest paycheck. This is his roster. My man has Canyon, Korea, Jovi aiming, Keen. Canyon is also kind of based, you know, because I saw some fucking crazy Canyon games.
As I mean, this is just pure desperation now as the hook is going to miss. But yeah, solar flare into the crown Azir. Not sure.
Yeah, but there's no way they were using
Chovy definitely, I mean, CV Max definitely went for like the biggest budget roster.
Can look for an ult angle, but it's just so slow moving that unless you're coming from like a flank, they'll just walk away from it. And Viper's confident just go in a side lane and take the tower here.
All I'm saying is Canyon had some crazy good games.
We just see life is basically on Featherstorm burning duty.
I didn't say anything else.
As this Jace is really not worked out. Zeka 3 levels ahead of his opponent here in the mid lane. And he's essentially just enjoyed a very comfortable ride as Peanut does take a lot of the aggro, but immediately the Amber Savai comes in and denies that Leona. Lots of damage into Zeka, though. They will take him down, and that might put an end to this push.
Sadly, Leona gets the kill, though. There was only a small bounty, but not ideal to be picking up that kill.
Didn't you used to watch a lot of LCK? What do you mean?
Definitely going to help with that poke damage. It does mean you don't get the refund that you get if you have it evolved. But either way, Genji... Oh my god. My heart just like...
That would have been the end of him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nightmare.
Ow. Wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, the Rumble can pump some damage. We haven't really seen it because they are pretty far behind, but...
Yeah, Viper kind of disrespecting that one a little bit.
Yeah. Surely How Life Esports just...
I'm sure I wouldn't buy Void over Shadowflame.
And take the game, right? I mean, this is kind of... Not the cleanest one we've ever seen.
No, and I think one of the things with the Infernal Soul is that, don't get me wrong, it's powerful and the stats are great. But also, if like your carry gets one shot, it's not really doing anything to help them, you know? Like, more damage is great, but if Genji get like a phenomenal engage and kill Viper, it's not like Mountain that's making that more difficult, or Hextech that perma slows everyone so they can't even get in position. It's definitely a fantastic soul, but there's a bit more volatility involved. And, yeah, you're just dead.
Well,
goodbye. Delight, don't go, Delight. Let it go.
Let's see. Oh no, he's dead. Okay, just trying to get some pressure.
All right. What's gonna happen in the next game?
Unfortunately, that's gonna lead to Doran's death.
Aatrox ban. Aatrox first peak.
Damage for about 16, 17 seconds.
Is Genji gonna go on blue again?
As the rest of Genji are here in mid, trying to make a stand.
Okay, the tier 1 is pretty good with an objective bounty as well, but when the enemy team gets a Baron, not the greatest trade. And if they can stall the Baron out for a bit, Doran could TP in. The thing is, if they give up the Baron, it's such a boost for the Elder fight. Oh, that's actually some big burst.
Right, they're trying to get in onto Peanut, but he just flashes away from this one. The teleport coming in as King in.
10 seconds.
Gonna zone them away as some time is bought here for Genji. How Life Esports, they really need to start this Baron and not get caught in the pit, as they will begin to run down, but Peanut's ultimate will be used.
Whoa, Grizzly, what the hell? Oh my god.
Oh, we have Doran back in, and How Life Esports have just given Genji the opportunity.
What was this, man?
Game away from them, just like that.
Oh my lord.
You don't have to wave clear from shit. Viper stopped his recall because he knows Doran's coming. Doran just needs to buy time.
Yeah, and Doran just...
Is this game just over? Are they ending?
But this push in the mid,
it's gonna end.
Genji's just gonna end.
Nah, blood.
As the Baron fight, we knew it was gonna be a bit risky. Viper now gonna try to back.
Oh my lord, it's just over.
The autos are coming in, raining down onto the Nexus turrets as Light is gonna get a blocked by Delight, who just flashes in front, and that's gonna do it. Genji gonna take game number 2 in the span of under a minute.
What a disaster when a team does. I feel like they did everything right. You know, they got the lead, they maintained it, they were setting up, and they lose one fight. One fight was all it took for them to lose the game. The Baron
Damn.
wasn't even that big of a consequence. Losing the Baron is whatever. The fight was the big thing, though. Even if they'd managed just to not end at that point, they would have taken Elder. It would have been doomed. But for them to be doing so well,
Jesus.
and then to lose off the back of that, it's not just about the fact that they now are...
Bro, this camera thing in Korea is the weirdest thing ever, bro. It's like must feel awkward as fuck here, like filming someone as a cameraman for like crowd reactions and they just cover their face.
When they got the Infernal, so they're like, okay, they're just gonna push in and end the game, like they're just gonna win, right? Surely. Well, no. It all came
Come on,
down to
Mowgli.
a Baron
Tell him
play
how it
that
is.
just happened a couple of steps too slowly.
Tell him how it is, Mowgli.
Esports, they had total control of this game. Gen.G found one angle. Take a look at that graph, the goal difference. I mean, this was Hanwha Life's game to lose, and Gen.G were like, oh, no, it's okay, we'll just take that one. We'll just take this win.
환상적인 6.
So, it must be so frustrating.
지금부터 내려가긴 하는데 방금 카이사가 집 가야 되는데 분노이긴 한데 카이사 내려보자. 더 갑니다. 럼블은 아직 5초. 상대가 속도가 좀 빠른데 여기서 피너지 과연 대전에 맞고
What is Blood doing?
여기서 피너지 과연 대전에 맞고
I don't know, Grizzly just threw the whole game, bro. Like, I couldn't believe when he killed the Maokai like that. That's crazy, dude. Blood forgot he's the jungler. What are Aatrox and Blitz doing? They're kiting the Maokai ult. It's like Zeka, it's like Sejuani needs to block the Maokai ult in the pit so Zeka doesn't take it, and then Zeka needs to stand behind it, and that's it.
럼블은 아직 5초. 상대가 속도가 좀 빠른데 여기서 피너지 과연 대전에 맞고
It's like here, like they need to go behind. Like on. Crazy. That is crazy, by the way. That is nuts. I think it's a shower angle for me, guys. I think I'm gonna go shower. When I met you in the shower, under the heartbeat sound. We can be together, baby. Yeah, this series has been kind of clapped, I'm not gonna lie, guys. What's up, team? They could have done a lot of things better, honestly. Many things better than this Nash. It was a monster throw, like monumental. Absolutely crazy. Magnanimous. Crazy throw. Games like these is why betting companies all over the world are profitable.
But either way,
partially.
I think the main thing.
All right, how I like your blue side now.
No, I think
Let's
the
see
main
what you
thing
got, son.
on Life Esports is it is hard to bounce back from this. Especially the main thing is going to be Grizzly, who's obviously never experienced a situation like this. But the takeaway
Let's
from
go,
that
Bobby
game
Schmogli.
should not be, oh, we lost a one game. It should be that 95% of the game we were winning. So go in this next game, make some adjustments, and look to just get that extra 5%, and you're solid. That's all you need to focus on. If you get bothered about what you could have done differently in the last game's done. It's gone. Next game's going to be a
Let's see
different
how
one.
this Maokai position will play
The
out.
bans, though. We're getting the same bans despite a side
That's Jax.
switch. Life Esports on red 2 games in a row, but they are banning the exact same champs. And Gen G would be banning LeBlanc here. Yep, so side switch, but same
Alright. I'm lagging.
bans.
Yeah.
Maokai not going to be prioritized. I think Gen G will just snap that up once again. 2 games
Why does
in a row
Riot
with
not allow
Maokai, and
betting
it's been
sponsors?
so impactful.
Honestly,
Yeah. So
gambling is a menace to
Peanuts 2 games
society.
in a row kind of dunks on you with the Maokai,
Honestly,
at least not for a very long period
The
of
moral
time.
conundrum
They'd
behind
still pick it up.
gambling is
Peanut
absolutely
considering
crazy.
a lot of other options
This
with a
would be
big
great
smile on his face.
If he hovers every jungle, it's like, look at all these cool... No, Maokai.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Look,
he did.
look, that's the face of I have to play Maokai 3 games in a row. You know?
Hey, winning comes at a price.
Yep, that's
for the Maokai
that's
player.
part of it. But they
It's
do get
like-
the Sejuani on this
It's
side.
it's a very
You know,
tricky
if I'm gonna
conversation.
say, we have the
It's a very tricky
Aatrox
conversation
Sejuani,
because I
despite the
do
fact
believe
it's world skin for Akali,
that
this feels more representative of these players right
less
now.
government
And the Sejuani to balance out as well. It's a
control
strong trio. But Gen
and
G
more
with Izzy and
individual
Maokai once again
control
should be pretty comfortable now. I
over
think Honor
topics like this.
Esports will, without any
Right?
doubt, be banning away the Xayah in
But
this
it's like one of
situation.
those things, you know, it's
So with
like
their composition, they're going to be
how
diving,
much damage
after
does
go for,
alcohol
like,
and gambling do
Xayah
to
and Sivir
society,
as their
and
bans.
how much is the
Gen G
gain
ban the Sivir away.
from the
Obviously,
individuality
utility
that
is
you
great
gain
with
from
Honor
it.
Life Esports
I don't know.
to provide
It's a
pressure,
very
but it also
grey
kinda works out
conversation
for
to me.
Gen G as a defensive pick. They're going to ban away the Nautilus as well. Seems like they want to get the Kai'Sa.
But I feel good when I win.
Honor, like, it's so
Yeah.
tricky because if you ban away the Xayah, then you're leaving Kai'Sa quite uncontested. But if you ban away the Kai'Sa, they take Xayah.
It's the
and
people,
Xayah's so
yeah, it's like
good
I
into
believe that people
Yone.
should have their own
Rakan's still
personal
available,
responsibility
so then
to do
Esports
this,
have to
right?
pick the Rakan almost definitely, and then Gen G get an option to counter that. So they take the Xayah, which means
Just Kai'Sa.
It's just
I
that
think it's correct to ban the Xayah in this situation.
in the end,
It's too
gambling
good
is a
against what
choice,
Honor Life want to do.
but inherently,
Honor Life Esports would love to
it's
have
like
Kai'Sa here, and I
when
think Gen G
majority,
have to not
the
only
majority
deny
of
it, but
people
look at it for
that
themselves,
gamble
is a
are
massive
going to
boon.
take
It would
bad
have to be
choices.
the AD Kai'Sa though. They are very heavy in terms of AP so far.
Yeah,
That's
for
a
sure.
good issue. You know, Viper played the last game to
How do you feel
pretty
about
great effect.
poker? I think poker
And now
is
Honor
perfectly
Life
fine.
Esports are going to go for the Viper,
I don't
Zeri,
think
and as
I
you
don't know how
said,
much of an
they needed to deny the Rakan, but
addictive
also
nature. I think if someone uses poker as their gambling vice, yeah, then they're just stupid.
So,
ooh.
Oh, this is great. This is actually phenomenal because originally the first time we saw Maokai support in the LCK, it was
They
Beryl
banned Xayah
playing
themselves.
it into Rakan. Really good matchup because you can... Peanut's so happy.
They banned Xayah themselves because they have this medial
like
income.
all those theatrics actually
Pop.
worked on everyone.
Yeah,
They're
I don't
like,
know.
Oh man, he
Red
feels
side,
so
I think
bad. He's
Gen G
gotta
is gonna
play
3-0 in
Maokai.
this
He's
case.
definitely playing Maokai, right? And now he's not.
Now he gets to play a fun champ like Poppy, but the thing is, both champions are great at providing peel, disrupting. Every single champion on the side of Honor Life Esports has a dash, and you have a Poppy. So the control from Genji is phenomenal, but also the Maokai matchup in the Rakan, if he W's in, you can W him at the same time, dodge the knock-up, and lock him in place. You can even actually interrupt his dash with that, and point-and-click CC counters him, so I think it was a great adaptation from the side of Genji there. I think they got a pretty solid draft once again, but the Honor Life Esports factor, Aatrox, and the Yone alongside Zeri for Viper, these are some definite comfort picks for these players, and they can pop off. They can make.
I wonder what the statistics are for people like on gambling sites. I wonder what the statistics are. It's like some people insert money, they lose, and then some people they win. And I'm wondering what the average is for people to lose that money that they won.
They're gonna feel like, okay,
I wonder what the average
won
is.
that game. Now we've got a lot of comfort. Let's make it work this time around. I'm very
So obviously the majority of people will lose, and some people will win. But I think the people that will win just keep going, and then they lose.
Poppy pick. So we'll see. I mean, Peanut's Poppy, a thing of legend. There's a reason why this pick became popular. It's because of Peanut. Let's jump onto the Rift, guys, for game number 3. We are ready.
Yeah, of course there's a house edge. But I think the house edge is even more extreme due to psychological advantages. Right?
Alrighty. Let's jump onto the Rift for game number 3. You ever just dance with the Sand Soldier?
Yeah, sometimes. I always love it.
Yeah.
You know, I love Zeka having such a range of emotes. All of them either shocked or angry. But also just the fact that it's like game 3, high pressure, and they're just still willing to throw down, have a little dance. And now, this is cheeky though. Like, guys, I've baited him in into a false sense of security with my dance moves.
Yeah, I like Red Side. I feel like they're pretty durable against like all-in comps, because they have like Kaiser, Alzi, Poppy, Kisante. I think these are champs that are pretty durable against all-in comps.
Now has to run all the way around. It's fine. He will be there on time. Not a big deal.
Yeah, interestingly, Life gone the spellbook on the Rakan. You know, there did used to be a trend. I remember when I was casting the LPL last year, it was On who went like spellbook like 4 games in a row.
On what? On who?
Everything. It would be harder to say what he didn't go spellbook on. It was like Leona, you know, it's just Leona, Rakan, pretty much every champ.
I was just memeing about his name actually, but but yes, please continue.
Yeah,
Spellbook
anyway, but
supports.
I think here the thought process being that you'll be able to switch to cleanse later on, which is going to make engaging a lot easier against the likes of Maokai. I assume is part of the thought process here, but also you get extra combat summoners. You know, if you're playing aggressive, forcing things non-stop, that does have an advantage. I think it ends up being weaker if you aren't forcing summoners, you know, because realistically you'd rather just have flash, but if everyone's flash is on cooldown, you can have that bonus.
Several leaked LS makes almost 2 mil from esports bet sponsor.
Everybody loves a
Damn.
bonus.
They should call me.
Let's see if Life can make it work for him. But yeah, I think his Rakan was good in game 1. Didn't really get a big opportunity to let it fly after the mid-game, though. As here comes Peanut. Just a casual 90% win rate on this. Again, like I said, there's a reason why Peanut and Poppy are a couple of words we say in the same sentence many, many, many times.
Because they both start with P.
Why would LS make more than Dom?
Just
too powerful.
Too catchy. We just have to say it.
Yeah, well, good job from Grizzly, though, I will say, by spotting out Peanut, because I think if you end up on the Wolves and Peanut comes in and slams you into a wall, that's when things can backfire. But yeah, gonna look to be contesting this. Both junglers have Smite. It looks like neither solo laner is moving right now, but look at Life. He's made his way up.
Yep. And now, I mean, in this 1v1, Grizzly is
Blood.
taking a huge amount of
Grizzly,
damage.
what you doing, son?
By the blue buff, that's not fair, as Grizzly has to flash anyway. Peanut with the follow as the permafrost coming in. Here comes Joby. Somehow here before Zeka, and is going to take first blood.
Oh, they're smoking that Grizzly pack.
I think he might be able to get away. Zeka does have a flash, and the flash comes in.
Oh, the W. Oh, no. It's so done.
Gets out alive.
You know, if game 2 didn't break Honor Life Esports
GG.
mental, I think that play might just have done it. That is painful on so many levels. Like the phenomenal roam up, only for it to not work out. Grizzly goes down, and then in the follow-up play,
That's my LCK All-Pro jungler right there.
burned for nothing.
Yeah. If that happened in solo queue, the entire team is trolling right now.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Like,
KT watching this.
Okay.
Viper would just go top lane, he'd be like, I'm done, my support goes.
This game is over. So, you know, I say it in that manner just because we really need to make it clear how big of a mental impact that is. Like, that really
hits
a lot.
That hit me, and I'm not even in the game, you know?
The Poppy getting away, man, that's frustrating.
That's the worst part, I feel, because the previous play was obviously, it wasn't great objectively, but the fact that Peanut got away after everything committed, both flashes from Zeka in life, for him just to walk
Poppy
off.
W doesn't work on
And now Grizzly's like, hey, I want to contest the jungle, and Chovy's
because
like,
he's
no.
like a little dash,
And
you know?
this is one of the things I was actually talking about before the series, is that I feel like if Chovy has prio mid,
Zeka
then it
also
allows
fucked himself
Peanut to
mid
really
so hard
challenge
over this.
Grizzly, and that is when he has struggled, when players like Peanut and Canyon have really taken the game to him and been very heavy-handed with invading and challenging him in the jungle. And you can see already it's panning out in a similar way. Peanut's on the Raptors.
Delight's here as well, so Zeka's in a lot of trouble. Goes over the wall, and now he's just,
Oh, man.
And maybe they get Viper over here. It's not looking likely. Peanut's going to block that for a while. We got some
Okay, Viper's here.
It's just a couple of weak ones on the side of HLE Esports. That's going to be 3 kills to the side of Gen G. This game is only 5.5 minutes in, and Gen G are already putting them in the dumpster.
They're 2,000 gold up. Chovy is 3-0. You know, I said this before, but if that previous play didn't break, that meant...
Well, then this one surely did it, yeah.
Oh, man. As just the base damages from Poppy here doing so much to Grizzly. That Buckler with the blue buff chunks. And then here, Life comes in, doesn't have the shield, but the heal from the Q does a lot, but Chovy gets there first. And then here in the follow-up play, the call is clearly we can't let him get away with this. And the W, oh man, the thing is, if Zeka had gone the other way,
well,
maybe there's so many.
He also had red buff though, so it's like can't really go that way or you die.
This just hurts. And yeah, Zeka trying to defend his jungle here, but he's so low, and it's a beautiful trap by Gen G. I mean, credit to them for making this happen. But you just see this moment where Zeka's just waiting and they're buying time, and it's just. The problem is they try and save him, so more people end up dying than just the one.
Yeah. It's almost like, okay, guys, let's really play as a team. Oh, it's too easy, he says. It's too easy for General Peanut. And
he's so happy he didn't have to play Maokai this game.
And honestly, it looks really easy for him in this one.
Honestly, this is the biggest Peanut meta we've ever been in, dude. Sejuani, Maokai, Poppy, the best champs on the patch.
Like Life is level 2, trying to get over there, trying to help.
Peanut is winning worlds.
That's that twisted advance you were talking about.
Viper on that, holy.
Viper will ult.
I'm gonna hope I kill this Maokai and Jesus comes and strikes him down with a Thunderbolt that does 800 damage.
That is one thing, is that...
Because I need a kill.
Okay, well that's a trade of flash for flash.
And he lost sums.
Yeah, pretty good. Honestly, good read from Delight. It looked like a moment where HLE Esports had the pressure.
What do you think is worse, the KT All-Pro first team? Bro, Lehen's MVP is perfectly fair.
Delight not had...
Lehen's was really fucking good.
Like, I think he was underperforming, but this game, setting up the trap with Peanut, making
him having a bad BF5 against T1 doesn't take that away.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ward has nothing to do with that.
He is level 6. Could try to throw it into Delight, who doesn't have...
What the hell? My God.
Well, the Korean commentators just screamed, okay? Now Phase is going to cleanse, and he is away with his ult.
You know, if those previous 2 plays didn't break on Life...
Oh, please.
It's a disaster, guys.
Oh, man.
I'm not sure what... I'm assuming it's something to do with... with the spellbook and him thinking he had a different summoner.
Bro, Lehen's is insanely impactful. Even honestly, he didn't even play that bad against T1. Like, he was always on mid first and he was always on top first. Like, he was playing. The way he connects with the game.
It's Peanut is going to get Life at least.
Alright, Viper gets a kill.
Finally, HLE Esports get 1 kill in this game.
They bounced back.
Viper's on the board, guys.
They're back, right? It's not over.
Chovy is going fought, but no, they're just going to let him go.
Man, it is just... being almost like, it's not even specifically.
Alright,
like
I'm putting on my Hanwha Life
It's just like a
inspection
comedy of really
goggles.
unfortunate situations for Hanwha Life.
Chovi's just waiting for that Unbound Soul, and he's just standing up to him.
Yeah, I think so. We've seen this matchup in game 1. The difference is in that game, it was Zeka who ended up with 3 kills, not Chovy, who is now 3-0.
Okay, I got my
20 CS
spectacles
lead.
on.
If you compare, Zeka has boots and a Doran's
Enjoy
blade.
it, Vampire.
And
I got my spectacles on.
Oh, true, valid.
Don't
and
forget.
Chovy basically nearly has his Leandries done.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I guess in theory it could be a crown again.
Yeah, could
But
be.
whatever it is, it's nearly done.
Yon will carry.
He'll have that. Has that dagger early as well, just to help with some attack speed. Did that in game 1. And yeah, I mean, your mid lane, you were talking about trying to get Peanut to be able to attack Grizzly one-on-one. Just getting that done once again.
Ace Dragon Chemtech 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
I'm on point today.
Well,
it's not an Infernal Soul this time, though.
True.
So we get a different soul.
Maybe it's a Cloud Soul. Atlas is the Atlanalist today, turns out.
It means the light is very happy because his saplings won't, all the brushes won't get eliminated.
Yeah, that's nice. Also, we're seeing, we haven't really had time to talk about it too much, but I really liked the Cassante pick into Aatrox as well. Can deal very easily with a lot of the sweet spots. I feel like it's a better answer in this current year and current meta into Aatrox compared to the Ornn of old.
Yeah, it was
Over the
a
wall
crazy
we
pick
go.
2-1.
In is the Poppy as
All
we
right.
have Grizzly here. Double knockup, but a lot of low health bars here
Bro,
on the side
everybody
of Gen G,
bouncing.
as Doran on the all-out is
All right,
trying to get
boom.
away, but can he? As Zeka
Boom.
comes in and just
That
picks
comeback
up the
is starting.
kill.
They're back.
2 kills on the
They
board.
bounced back.
Can they find
They get a
Papushka?
kill. You know, it's originally Gen G who are looking for the play, but the AoE damage from the Aatrox super dangerous to get it up close and personal to. And now, unlike esports, looking to transition straight into a Herald.
He has a crown, but he doesn't have smite. Neither does
Bro, is
Grizzly.
Chovy just a goat, man? Look at what he's doing to them.
Guys,
Oh my lord!
Oh,
There's
man.
no way.
I don't even.
What the
Chovy's just gonna kill
hell?
both.
Bro, Chovy
I mean,
is just
Grizzly's
a
coming in here. He's trying
geode.
to taxi Zeka out of here as
Holy
now. We do have the turret
moly.
underneath the turret. They should be able to get pace, right?
Oh, nice cleanse, but the Q.
Bounce. I think
Oh,
that
he get him.
last
He gets him. He
bounce
gets him. He gets him.
Who's gonna get him? Unfortunately,
He gets him,
life
he gets
does
him.
go down, but at least Viper picks up.
Bro, I thought he wouldn't get him.
Oh well, I guess he didn't even get the kill, but at least they got the kill.
So let's rank them. Losing last game when you'd been winning the whole time, the first early play, the second early play, or Chovy stealing the Herald. Which is the biggest tilter?
I'd say the game 2 one.
Probably, yeah.
I'd say that one, and then I think the Chovy one is next.
I think as well the Chovy one was after a string of them.
Yeah,
so it feels more
it's
significant.
extra power, yeah. Fortunately. I mean, Gen G, you saw the attitude of Peanut. He's like, this is easy. He's just having a great time.
The jungle
like,
gap
they're
has been
just,
crazy.
You know, rolling over how
Yeah, Chovy got gold.
game 2. It feels like they didn't really take that too heavily. They're like, well, they gave us an opportunity. We took it. Okay, we take the win. Nice.
Whereas this feels like a harrowing experience for Hanwha Life Esports. Yeah. My sympathies go out. And yeah, I mean, this play, they get hit by the big sweet spot at the end, and the blast cone, which I'm sure you love, ends up disrupting the situation.
Well, at least it caused some action rather than getting somebody to safety.
And then here,
in live, looks like Pays kind of getting bullied a bit here on the bottom side. Does not have flash. Looks like he is just dead. Trying to turn that one around. It's not going to happen. They waited in the brush.
Baseball.
Now Viper on the Seri, 2-0. I mean, it was a nice early lead for Gen G, but the game isn't over yet.
You know, I joked a lot about how hard it is mentally for Hanwha Life Esports in the back of all these mishaps in the game 2. They're still trying. They haven't stopped at no point.
Alright, what is the angle, guys? What is the
all
angle?
of that,
Honestly,
and they're still trying to make plays happen.
the angles are tough.
Well, this is Grizzly in a really unfortunate spot. He will have to flash away. Looks like Peanut and delayed.
Bro, if Gen G just let Peanut carry this game, like, don't even fucking look at the enemy champs unless Peanut's on your screen.
As now, okay, well that wasn't it, but
What the
good
fuck?
effort, I guess. Kingen is on the chase, as he's not quite gonna hit that second sweet spot.
It's been a while. Doran's been like pretty consistent recently. That was a Doran moment, you know, where he just kind of randomly nearly gets himself, or often does get himself solo killed.
But it's okay.
But it's fine.
Because it doesn't really go, well, let's be real, because he's playing this he's going to survive. He will be just fine.
Nice.
And yeah, the big lead is definitely in the mid lane.
I like it.
As we mentioned before, Chovy got...
He's nearly got 2 items.
Yeah.
And Zeka doesn't have an item.
Not yet.
Not yet, is true. Yeah, here, the exhaust as well burns the cleanse immediately.
Boom.
And didn't even have the ult in the situation. Wasn't even needed. But that would have been huge if he burnt the cleanse and then ulted. But either way, they end up taking down Pays, getting a kill for Viper. And that might be the saving grace. The 2-0-1 Zeri. Because realistically, when I think about team fights, as long as Zeka hits a big R, who really cares? And Viper can just do the carrying. Kingen can do the big damage with the sweet spots.
Sure.
You know, that's the copium right now if you're a Hanwha Life Esports fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is still an angle. If we just remove any kind of like, oh, the mental boom, etc., you know, we're sitting in a position where it's kind of a Azir versus Zeri. We've seen Zeri do crazy things in the past. And not to mention that the Aatrox up against another tank is mostly getting a free lane. He is behind 10 CS, but like, that's okay. Picked up an assist. He's doing just fine. It's Kingen, right? Could definitely see some angles where if Gen G don't lock this one down a little bit more,
hey, thank you, Baltamele.
Gen G would just did to them.
I mean, there's a lot of engage, and if they kill Chovy, they immediately wipe such a large amount of gold off the map. So just kill Chovy, I guess, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult because he's Azir with Crown and they have Poppy who can position aggressively and Maokai.
It's Ocean Soul. You know, Peanut,
I like
2
Orcs.
games in a row he has Infernal Soul,
Pass me the Orcs.
Maokai, where you have no brushes.
The Orcs is pretty funny.
And then Delight plays it 1 game and high rolls and gets like the infinite brush map.
Peanut, what are you doing? He's having maybe a little bit too much
Okay,
fun.
Peanut.
We were just talking about how
Peanut.
esports can come back.
Peanut is giving back, guys.
Shutdown onto a Yone.
Peanut, thank you very much.
He's feeling much better about his position now.
Yeah, I don't think the Krugs were worth it, but you know.
Like for example, the Ox. I don't think the Krugs are worth it. He just says everything in the same tone.
I believe
his delivery is good.
Yeah, it's 2-0 and 3.
Pretty nice. And now it comes down this Dragon in 30 seconds. We have seen item completions across the board for Hanwha Life Esports. They really don't want to give over. I mean,
is this the game Hanwha Life is going to win, guys?
Aren't that valuable this late in the game? Well,
are you believing in the reverse sweep?
But the soul will still be very valuable, so they definitely want to try.
Do you believe in the reverse sweep?
Stack them up.
Yeah, I mean, if they can control vision in the river.
My man just sneezed on broadcast twice, and he didn't say bless you.
Yeah, could definitely get them into a good spot to get some of those engages.
Fuck the cough button.
As let's see how it goes. I mean, it does seem like both teams are going to be gearing up for this fight.
So importantly, Chovy's crown is down right now. And the big thing is, if they kill Chovy, kill Pays, that's a goal for Hanwha Life Esports.
Right.
Kill one of the carries, and you should just
Nah, look at Chovy's items, bro. This is fucking impossible.
Life has Smite, he's going to go for it.
Oh, life?
No, he's not.
Okay, I mean, never mind. Yeah, okay.
You know what it is? Do you know what happened last game? Hanwha Life Esports got all 4 dragons in Soul, and they lost. So maybe they're like, hey, why don't we just give over Dragon, give over Soul? It's Kiss.
Based, good take, good take.
You know, we have seen a little bit of that.
Great take.
For sure. As Gen G gonna get started here on this Rift Herald. They do have the top lane turret under a bit of pressure.
Fight like this.
Kingen was up there pressuring. That is now teleporting the bottom side. Looks
they
like
were Adam 22 for like 2 minutes straight. Like just watch enemy do Drake and then watch him do Herald.
Let's not get too out
and then this is Zeka going on Twitter and saying, "Yo, you don't get to fuck my wife anymore." Like he just went on Twitter right now. And
here's the one that Zeka got earlier on. Not really.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yep, so again, this just puts more pressure on this next Dragon fight for Hanwha Life Esports, because by that point, Baron is going to have spawned, and it's kind of going to come down to that. I don't think like Ocean Soul is like an auto win for Gen G, but generally speaking, Ocean Soul is better the bulkier you are, because you get more benefit from the sustain. Even though obviously like it's a flat heal, the thing is champions like Cassante, champions like Maokai, champions like Poppy will survive long enough to get the benefit.
Yeah.
So Gen G's comp will just be able to
Blood.
really mitigate any poke that comes out for Life Esports, but also just
Healing
the tank
scales
so
with
much
armor
more
and magic
durable,
resistance.
so
There you go, bro.
definitely helps with their chances of winning, but I don't think it makes it impossible if they do get it. But still, Life Esports, when comfortable approaching that previous one, next one will be a must. And I think maybe leaning towards the 2-item spikes. Zeka should have shield bow by then. You know, we should have Sereldas for King and he's going once more, and the Navori for Viper.
Yeah, just biding their time. It does look like Gen.G also kind of biding their own time after a couple of mistakes, just saying, okay, we got the dragon, just farm it out. You know, we're still ahead. A couple of mistakes here and there is not going to be the end of the world. As we do have a little setup here from Grizzly. Sun turret in position. Let's see if they actually do go for this, as Peanut is here as well. Just going to throw up the stopwatches. Now they try to
get this shutdown is huge.
They have the damage.
Hey.
No, they don't,
Oh, snapback.
It's going to live for so long. Peanut.
Wait, the snapback didn't have lethal.
Sends an ult for good measure.
Wow.
As Peanut is going to keep him in this one. As now they're doing Baron.
I mean, yeah, go for the Baron. You bin a lot, no ult from Peanut, which is
Damn.
obviously... Peanut!
Yeah. Well,
just spice it up. Throw a Herald down.
Alright.
Sure, you know,
This is the Herald for Vision or what?
Interesting. As now, Peanut does not have the
Oh,
ult.
Peanutty. Oh, they got the Sejuani out of the pit.
He gets back in, and the
Oh, Rakan smite. Rakan smite.
Slave is going to get it down. Now, though, the fight afterwards, Chovy gets in. The damage
Alright.
is done.
Vipering.
Picks up
Zeding.
a one. Well, actually, he tries to get in there. They can't quite get another one, but it's still a double kill here
Sucks.
to Chovy. As
Old Zeddy would fucking
Baron
Panther.
goes to Life Esports, I guess.
That was just so comedic, the way that all panned out. Just heavy. I think it was the right call from Life Esports, right? They had the double smite, they had the confidence, they knew Peanut had no
It's a
ult,
good outcome for Hanwha Life.
Chovy was
I have a hard time believing that they will win
this
this
is a
next
situation
Drake
where
fight, though.
Chovy actually kind of dodged it, but didn't have confidence and just stopwatched immediately. The follow-up play, it looks like it's going to be enough. The Peanut does a great job of disrupting, and a phenomenal ult there on the back end. So they survive, but immediately Life Esports go to the Baron, and then the Herald in the pit, so we get double. How rare is it you see both Void creatures in the Baron pit together? And then in the ensuing play, Doran drags Grizzly out, but the problem is 2 smites.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Comes in, second follows. But even so, you know,
Big sneeze, big sneeze.
out the pit. But Gen.G holds strong as a 5-man together, and Life Esports eventually just escape. They get the Baron, they only lose 2. I think it's still fine. But the 40 seconds until that Dragon, and they didn't really get that much gold if we look at the top left of our screens. Only up about 700. And they need to win this fight, and a lot of summoners were banned. King and no flash, Grizzly no flash, Zeka no flash, but on the other side, no one on Gen.G has a flash either.
Yeah, it's very true, as now Viper just being zoned. They're just surrounding them, I guess. Grizzly going to get caught out here, just going to charge away as the Sun Disc is in, but what is going on in this game? Ult's going to come through. Grizzly looks like he's in a lot of trouble and will get taken out as they're trying to take down the Dragon, but
no, they don't have time.
It's a bit too little too late. No smite here this time for Life.
All right.
I think they just want to try and fight it.
Just gonna ult into the nether. Okay.
Nah, the jungle gap has been so insanely huge. The biggest, bro, the biggest.
Zeka, though, trying his best, trying to get on in there, but the damage is too much. Gets swept up and killed alongside of the Ocean Soul. That gets smited down by Peanut. As Baron has recall, it's going to be very lucky for him, but he has that to get away.
So now Gen.G, the gold lead isn't super significant. A lot of it is on Chovy, but that's the thing, right? You know, you're not really that bothered about total team gold. It's about how much gold is on the carries. And 3 items on that Azir is very significant. Ocean Soul in pocket as well, going to make things even harder. I don't think it's unwinnable for Life Esports. I think they've been demonstrating that, but it is getting harder. It is going to become more difficult. And all in all, it's going to be about finding that big
not buying this cap.
Juicy King and going for the Black Cleaver this time, so a bit bulkier this game. Not going for the Glass Cannon build on the Aatrox.
Going to be able to chip away at some of that armor on the Cassante and the Poppy and the Maokai and the Azir. But definitely going to feel pretty good in an extended fight at least. But really, I'm just not sure if they have the answer for Chovy. Like, Life Esports have their own answers in terms of like, okay, they've
If
got Viper's
Jovi's going anywhere, then he's going to China.
Yone can be serviceable.
Buddy.
Aatrox can be serviceable. They don't need to be like insanely fed to get work done.
The era of
But
high
again, like, who's
profile
killing Chovy?
Yeah, and I think
Korean players going
Jovi
to
has a very
LCS and LEC
defensive
is
build with the
donezo.
Crown and the Zhonya's, and it's obviously less damage output than other builds, but he does enough damage. And the thing is, it's just about surviving, and if Honor Life Esports just try and hit Gen G's front line, they lose. They have to get on the back line, and one of them is a Kai'Sa who's super mobile and hard to pin down, and the other one is basically an immortal...
Yoshik is high profile too.
Azir, sorry, who's going to be probably about as hard to pin down, maybe even harder. And the thing is, summoners are coming back up. Flash is going to be up for a second in Chovy, and Pain
Who cares, blood?
soon. I do think something I want to praise
Like,
is Game 1, when Honor Life Esports fell behind, they didn't do much. And they let the game bleed out, and they weren't forcing summoners, so when it came to the big fights, they were all available. They've done a much better job this game of doing that, but honestly, I think you have to try and force some stuff in the next 2 minutes before Elder spawns. Try and get Chovy's flash, maybe
Blood,
Baze's
T1
cleanse
is
or something
the
like
most
that,
famous league
if you
team.
just wait for the Elder
Faker,
fight,
or maybe
and
not.
Chovy has
Faker is the
Crown,
biggest player.
Flash,
Of course, my man's
he
gonna
isn't
get
gonna
death
die.
threats.
4 items at that point.
Oh,
Of course, I'm not, like,
yet.
it's fucked.
3.5
It's completely
items,
fucked.
by the
But
time the
of
Elder
course, my
buff
man's getting death threats.
Dragon does roll
He's
around.
just that known.
Have that. And we're
There's
have the
gonna be
Baron first,
psycho
right? We have a
people out
minute here
there.
until the Baron spawns, so already with the support Maokai,
And I
you just
hope-
build tank, you throw down
I hope
saplings and all the brushes, you get
my
a ton of
man's
vision,
safe, you know?
and you control
And I
space.
think they should take
Gen G
precautions.
should push for the Baron,
But
because with the Ocean Soul
it's not
and so many
surprising.
tanks, they can tank
That's
the
all I'm
Baron
trying to
pretty
say.
Definitely. They'll never drop an HP because of the Soul. But also, if you let it go down to an Elder and it comes to a flip, and let's say Honor Life Esports have double smite, or even if they don't, if Grizzly gets a God smite, that will win them the game, potentially. Whereas I think if they set up the Baron correctly,
yeah, the
I
Zeri
don't
is
think
now
there's
cutting all the
that
healing
many
that this
avenues for
Maokai is
Honor
doing,
Life
guys.
Esports to win, so I think they should look for that angle and set up there. Get a million saplings in every brush.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Delayed is doing at this point in time. We did see that Zeka tried to take a trade with Chovy. I don't think he's going to be trying to do that again. He lost half his health bar.
He had to test to see if we're doing.
Additionally, I don't see why you publicize the fact that you take additional measures. Why would that be something that you want to publicize?
You know, before in
It's like,
game
yeah,
one,
we are taking extra precautions for the safety of our players. Why would you want to publicize
Does
this?
have a stopwatch as now the ult goes in onto Peanut, who is incredibly tanky, but this
Doesn't
is
it just
gonna
make it
force
worse?
the Nature's Grasp out pretty early, just in trade for the stopwatch from the support of
So
Honor Life
others don't
Esports.
do it as well?
Yeah, he's going pretty ham.
Oh,
Now,
live!
pretty confusing.
Live!
They took down Toby, and that's all they had to do. Pays trying to fight front to back, but look at Viper. They
Let's
killed
go.
Toby. And I was asking how they're going to do it. Well, I guess just like that is now Pays is getting hunted down, and Honor Life Esports, now they're going to push down the mid lane.
And the game, and the game,
and the game. It doesn't matter how the game goes. It's
and the
only
game,
the last
and the game,
fight, and they find it.
and the
Grizzly
game,
with some
and the game,
insane bait there,
and the game, hey, 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 and the game, hey, 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 and the game, hey, 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 and the game, and the game, and the game, and the game.
So Darn's going to try to back now. We do have Peanut coming up in 5 seconds.
I don't think it's enough. There's too much damage.
This one is
Punch
closer.
it, punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it. Soul is fake. Soul is fake. Soul is fake. Never mind.
They're not going to commit to it. And it was really close, but Honor Life Esports not going to try to end the game just yet.
I think this might top the list of tilters.
No, I think game 2 is still worse.
Okay, well, the problem is, if they lose this game, they're out, and Kingen has no TP, and he spawns about the same time as Elder. So, it's going to be rough. Stopwatch is great here from Life. He would have just died immediately otherwise. But here, I mean, we end up seeing a situation where Grizzly goes in what seems so crazy.
Oh, they got Baron too.
And then he flashes out, and Life is like, that is my window.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Pays has a phenomenal flash there. Great read. He did also have the cleanse to help out. But Chovy had, Zhonya's had flash. Just gets caught. And the rest of the team crumbles as a result.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we
Oh,
joke
imagine
about
they
it,
did Nash,
when the
guys, and then
Sejuani
levered Nash
dashes
into getting
fire,
Elder, and then they would end the
you're
game.
not immediately going to be like, oh crap, like I
Now,
gotta be ready
instead,
to blast
Genji has
away, right?
Nash.
You're not going to expect the Rakan to come flying in after the Sejuani flashes out.
Grizzly used the ultimate tool, Comic Relief.
I was excited about the end game because of how game 2 ended.
That they were caught off guard. And now,
All right,
things
Grizzly,
back up
this
because
is your
Genji
moment.
went for the Baron. Unlike Esports got time to reform. And, you know, we talked about the last fight being the big one.
You're
That is
gonna
be
eat
the case
shit.
Here. Yes, Genji have the advantage in gold
Or you'll
with
enjoy
the
it.
soul, but if Honolife Esports get Elder, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Might just come down to an Elder. Doran in position here. Next to Grizzly, we see Peanut now on the flank, this time not caught. Zeka trying to do his best, trying to poke on in. Chovy holds on to his crown.
All
Which
right.
again is going to be incredibly important. You see Genji is taking
Oh,
this
these
very
HP buds,
slowly.
bro. Like,
They win
in
the
standoffs
poke
like
wars
this,
with their
bro, they got Ocean Soul, they got better range,
they're
they have
huge
tanks, they
frontline
have
as well,
fucking
right?
everything,
So,
dude.
Just pushing
Like, if they
Grizzly
don't
away,
snap-
the ult is thrown in, the third Q comes out, and Grizzly's just dead.
Rip.
A nice try,
It's
but
FF.
it doesn't look like it's going to pay off for the Hummeley
FF.
Esports jungler. So Genji, nice pick off.
What can you do here? Life doesn't have smite.
All right, Chovy sweeps these.
Gotta send it. Gotta send it. Gotta do something. Gotta press your buttons. You're gonna lose to Elder Soul anyway, but they say, well, they almost zapped that away, but it's still Genji who is going to pick up the objective, and now they have Exodia.
And it feels like Grizzly's been targeted so hard this game. Once again, Doran
This is like
finds an
the-
angle, and the thing is, what else can you do?
Yeah, I don't know
with
about this
Sejuani?
Abyssal
You
purchase.
have to try and approach the Dragon here, but just ends up splitting a bit too much from the team, and knowing he has no flash, Grizzly sees what's going to happen before it can, but he's in
Bro,
no
even I
position
wanted them to
counter
end
it.
because of
He
how
gets
game
caught out,
2
and now
ended.
Genji can't poke them. They have Ocean Soul.
Even I wanted them
You
to end
can't
because
play
of
the
how game 2
minions, they
ended.
have Baron,
So I get it.
And you certainly can't fight them with Elder. They are doing a good job of clearing the minions now that I say that.
I mean,
but the
Genji are in
siege
a
will come
weird,
through, yeah.
they're in some kind of weird, like, 3-2. They've got Doran with Chovy, maybe just as a bodyguard, I guess, after what happened before.
I think of all the champions in the game, K'Sante does look like a pretty good bodyguard.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good, could be suitable career in the future.
There's no angle now for Hammerlife.
Featuring in
There's no
compactors
angle.
everywhere, then yeah, it's...
Yeah, if you get nerfed enough, you know.
There's no angle.
It's time to move on. Yeah, so Genji, anyway, they still have the
Are you gonna watch KCLFL final? I will
as
review
say
it
that,
tomorrow.
it's gone. But they still do have the Elder, is what I meant to say. So the poke is coming in. And
Yo, Pani Kupelka,
Zeka is
dziękuję
gonna get
bardzo.
locked up against the wall, and the poke is just
Boom.
huge as
Dragon
Jovi's just
Lord.
gonna take him out. And that must be the nail in the coffin. Now they're gonna get the knock-up here on a Viper as well. They're gonna make this last fight at least clean, unlike the other 50 fights we had in this game, as it is a clean ace to the side of Genji, and it is a clean 3-0.
What a game from Chovy, by the way.
Genji as they take down the
What a
series
game from
and will
Chovy.
move into the winner's bracket
Life almost
up against
saved the game.
T1 tomorrow.
Pretty convincing victory overall. I think Genji maintaining the form.
Holy, what's your garlic?
I think for Honolife Esports, the score does not tell the story of this series. So close to winning that game 2. And there were moments in this game 3 as well. It's a frustrating one, but I think if they treat this as a learning experience, they still have chances in playoffs. They still have chances to go to Worlds. And ultimately, they showed...
What's your garlic?
some of
My
that
garlic is
today.
Chovy, guys.
Grizzly, I think, first big challenge in playoffs.
It's
Definitely a
garlic,
struggle, but,
Chovy and
we
Peanut.
Can learn from this. He's been growing throughout the season, but really, yeah, a bit of reflection on today will do a lot of good. But yeah, Genji making a statement today with KT losing in the upset. Genji showing that no, the top 2 seeds aren't just going to fall apart. We're good.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned it because Hummelite Esports now with this loss, it is double elimination, but they have to go against the other team that lost, which is KT. So if KT returned to form, definitely expecting them to take the victory against Hummelite Esports. But,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe T1 broke them.
And I will say the regular season matches
Crazy.
against Honolife Esports were both 2-1s in favor of KT, whereas against Genji they got 2-0'd both times. So I'm not sure whether that necessarily means that they're going to show up better against KT. But I would hope that maybe they can handle the matchup a bit better. Either way, KT definitely reeling up after that loss. an opportunity, and regardless of what happens in the playoffs for Honor Life Esports, they are locked into the regional gauntlet in the top half. So still definitely in line to make Worlds, even if they lose to KT, but I don't think they should focus on that now. Focus on recovering from this loss, looking at some of the issues that happened. And for Gen G, you know, once again, we get Gen G T1. It's just inevitable.
Protection versus T1 Gen G.
It's just inevitable. At some rate,
it's a weird one, but I think Chovy Peanut runs that series. I think Chovy Peanut will carry, bro. I think Gen G should win.
Getting involved as well.
I think Peanut and Chovy will run that series. I think that they have disparity in the right roles. But honestly, Pace was kind of uninteresting today.
Where it just went, it was a bit wacky, but also very entertaining.
No, it's a fun game.
Yeah, like
really
this moment for Grizzly.
Everyone said that about KT too. They said, yo, KT Peanut and KT Chovy are going to Smurf.
Here. That's
really?
Tough, right? Think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if
that's
you're
what they said.
To go for like a straight up 5v5,
crazy.
Chovy will always be ready for that. So just do that instead.
No one was ready.
Hayes didn't do anything amazing, but he also didn't make any big mistakes. Bro,
this was really
he kept this very relevant in this game.
Bet that Delight respawns and Doran wins the 1v1 and is able to recall.
I actually think the fact that
you guys forgot that Pace died?
Because Zeri can't auto over tanks.
Yeah.
So you can't rush the base down if you have these tanky Ocean Solars standing in front.
True. And Viper was very fed in this game. He had a lot of damage and items. As they're saying, let's go to Daejeon. They want to go to Daejeon. In fact, it's Daejeon. That's their motto.
Trying to deny Viper's return to his hometown as well.
Yeah, and it might just happen. I mean, there's still an opportunity for Viper to get there, but they'll have to
I feel like also Gen G has the humility to make sure that Zeus is not in good matchup.
Yeah, definitely a challenge, and that is the big question.
Just fucking ban Aatrox. Just ban Aatrox, Rumble, Xayah,
from T1,
and have a good time.
KT started to crumble.
Don't fucking spend jungle bans against this fucking team, by the way.
I don't think we can completely rule them out. But this series, despite being a 3-0, I felt was closer than the score implies. So definitely Honor Life Esports will go in as underdogs, but I think there's potential. And for the other side of the bracket against T1, I have no idea.
I don't know about Faker Tristana.
Who even knows who's favorite there? In theory, on paper,
yeah, Zeus played really good in all the playoffs.
We'll just have to wait until
Don't
tomorrow.
do jungle
That's
bans.
right away. So will be very interesting. Make sure you guys are tuning into that. But we're done. It was a quick 3-0 tonight, and we'll leave it up to the space to try to break down that game 3 and the rest of the series. Take it away.
Yeah, I like the use of word try to break down the game.
Look at Atlas' fresh cut.
In the early game, it looked like
he has the freshest cut in the land. Yo, homies, speaking of cut, maybe I'm gonna go cut my hair, man.
But it got weird.
I think maybe I should do errands now, and I'll catch you for LCS later.
Early. And also, I felt like Honor Life Esports, once again, shout-outs to Dandy actually having a great
I'm gonna go get a haircut.
as far as drafting is concerned. I think, once again, setting them up for success, finding comfort for this team. As you can see in the draft, they've got the double melees and the Sejuani that was working for them so well.
No, we don't play Baldur's Gate today because Wunder can't. I was thinking of starting my own solo run, honestly. I was low-key considering that.
Much in this draft, but the idea here is, okay, we're going to be up against.
And also, like someone said, to like they're publicizing it to discourage others. Bro, publicizing it encourages others, in my opinion.
Which I think is totally fine here, but unfortunately, you're running into great engage, strong lanes here for the first time, really having some comfort from the lanes for Hanwha. But ultimately, the early game and the jungle gap was what this came down to, and it was what we were most worried about coming into this series, and I think of the 3 games, this one was the most severe.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I should play my own Baldur's Gate 3 run.
What do we make of the Flex Maokai?
I was thinking about going a full charisma character Bard, where I try to play the whole game without fighting ever.
Was a good thing for Honor Life Esports. He's been so incredibly dominant on that pick, even though it worked out quite well for Gen G towards the later stages of the game. there were certainly some moments where it could have been better used elsewhere. I don't
like
mind
basically full pacifist run, try not to kill anything.
He is on the champion, and
that's what I was thinking.
Here in the early game, we can roll the first clips to see what happened because it looked really doomed on the side of Hanwha, especially after this play.
Yeah, but I think that I will start that later.
Grizzly, this is exactly what
Isn't it too boring
in their regular season match?
No way.
Week 9 is Peanut just said
it's not like the fighting in this game is like mind blowing.
Comes over here and Zeka tries to save the play, is unsuccessful here. Peanut just kiting his way out, and Chovy gets a pretty nice lead from this, and they are able to snowball this Peanut, man. He is just so good. Kites this one out. Chovy layers a bunch of damage, and they just can't chase any further. The dab here as well, and then things get even worse. You just mentioned it, Atlas. Obviously, the Poppy synergy with the Azir, we know about this, but this is just Zeka getting caught, pushed here over the wall, and then Chovy's like, man, more money for me? I'm all about that.
Yeah, and this
no, I'm pretty sure
after tilter
like
after tilter. After the whole series for Summer Life
I can tell you
has been a tilter. Like
I can tell you guys, game is more enjoyable when it's novel. Yeah, I'm not gonna catch up to my own playthrough, like the playthrough with Cajul and Wunder. I will not have enough time.
Going towards his support who's roaming so perfectly at a like weird timing, right? Where you don't expect there to be a Rakan that randomly turns up, and it just doesn't matter at all.
Basically, for me, Baldur's Gate 3, I'm pretty certain that I will play Baldur's Gate 3 like I'll play it through like 50 times. I loved the Divinity Original Sin games, and I loved the shit out of Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate, I mean not Baldur's Gate 3, but just Baldur's Gate 1. And the Tales of the Sword Coast and all this stuff, you know?
He goes in a little bit early, and Gingy are like, wow, I'm not so sure about that one, Grizzly. And they kind of group up here, and then Life makes a fantastic play. Viper layers the damage. They instantly delete Chovy, which it felt like was going to be an impossible task this game because Chovy has Crown, he has Zhonya's, he's so far ahead, he has so much money, he's really the main carry for this roster. If you can't kill him, you can never win a fight. They had that one opportunity.
Bro, Dota, please stop updating Dota, you piece of shit.
Did get shut down on the base. Baron went over, and then Genji still ultimately won the game. But I liked the snap decision there from Hanwha Life to collapse onto Chovy.
Yeah, that decision.
Bro, imagine having the fucking audacity to fucking advertise Dota, bro. I mean, not Dota, but Overwatch. Imagine having the audacity, man. The audacity. The audacity, love. That's crazy, man. That is nuts. You're advertising Overwatch. This fucking piece of shit game.
I don't think I would be too worried though, because it's not like league fundamentals per se. It's not as what we saw in game 1, where like, okay, they
I wanted to show you guys my playtime. This is my playtime in Baldur's Gate.
We need to be on the same page. We need to know when
Baldur's Gate 1. But I played a lot on Steam, like I had the CD in the past.
Depending on how KT shows up, I would not be too confident, honestly. We'll see about this later. Last replay here, because of course it had to come down to an Elder flip. Not flip so much though, because of what happened here.
Yeah, Life doesn't have his unsealed smite this time, and he's zoned out by Peanut, and Grizzly, I'm not entirely sure what the thought
I love this game. Baldur's Gate 2, I didn't play it too much because every time I do the playthrough, I do Baldur's Gate 1 into put my characters in Baldur's Gate 2. That's usually how I play it.
It's never gonna happen without smite, and I mean, Genji, we just wanted to showcase like they were more decisive.
But like complete, like Baldur's Gate 1 has like 300 hours of content more.
Grizzly, he went what 0-6 this game. It's a bit of an issue. I think this is going to be a great learning experience.
If you go to like Durlag's Tower, yeah, I'll stream the BG3. Have you played Pillars of Eternity? I did play Pillars of Eternity 1. I didn't play 2. I didn't think it's on the same level.
Genji can pick up a Baron, make sure that they have all of the control in the area. Like it was desperation on.
I also played another game,
Grizzly gets caught there, I think you just
like a different one that was similar to these games. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
It was a one-man keeper's verdict. Maybe you can fight around that, but I honestly think it was kind of doomed from when they lost King and under the Nexus.
I didn't play Pathfinder. I played Divinity Original Sin.
Third one. I don't even know who you guys voted for.
We voted for Chovy. I feel like Peanut had a great game, no doubt, but I think the game.
Trying to remember the name of the game.
Set up for Chovy, and because he had the gold, he needed to actually have a.
Not Dragon Age, no. I actually didn't play Dragon Age. That's the one. Planescape Torment. That's the one.
money he has.
That's the one.
Actually, this is one of the big
Bro, this game as well, guys. Holy shit, this game is one of my favorite games of all time. Jade Empire. Holy, this game is gigabase. I don't know if anyone in the chat played this game, but this is one of the greatest games ever made. No joke, by the way.
The soul fight absolutely pivotal. There were so many moments in this game. 6 out of 11. Peanut getting a whole bunch.
What happened to BioWare, man? They used to do so many good games.
Playing extraordinarily well. A little bit fast and loose. I think loses a few points in a few people's minds for that little catch towards the bottom side of the map.
I was about to say, yeah, don't get too cocky.
Wasteland was pretty good, yeah.
Even though he had a fantastic early game, in the end, we still have a bit of time before the interview, I believe. So I'm gonna ask you guys to cosplay score and tell me what are the learnings from this series if you want to get more dominant and get ready for
what are my games?
Really good T1 in the next game.
I have so much shit games because I used to play though. I used to buy those bundles, you know, humble bundles. Humble bundle. Just some humble bundles.
Teams that have stronger early game comps, you don't have to force. You do need to respect them.
Humble bundle was the most brilliant scam ever, bro. I didn't play any of those fucking games.
Yeah, and I think
this game, I wish I could get my money back, bro. This game was such a piece of shit. I want my money back. I want my time back. I want my interest back.
The level of dominance that Zeus displayed yesterday, I think Zeus's form at the moment
Fuck this game.
Terrifying. So I think going back to the mitigations
there's gonna be
they had when they took them down in the last final.
Someone's in the chat is gonna say, "Oh, the game is better now." Bro, I don't care.
I don't think it's the dominant version of Genji that I was expecting today, especially.
This, I wish I had people to play this game with. I think this game is very interesting. Disco Elysium? What's Disco Elysium?
But how do you see this one going?
I think the biggest problem is once again going to be.
The fuck is this game? Nah. All right, guys. I will come back to stream later. Maybe I'll do like a little Baldur's Gate 3 or maybe some TFT later, and then we watch LCS, of course. I'm gonna go get my hair cut. I'm going to like take my time and relax. Okay. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. All the best. See you for LCS tonight. It's gonna be a big one, I believe. Let's check the schedule real quick. That is not a big one. But either way. See you on the flip and see you on the flop. Catch you. How about that? Let me raid God Gilius if he's awake. Maybe God Gilius is streaming, maybe he's not. I'm not gonna check. I'm just gonna send